Football lives here.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Go! Go! From BBC Radio Scotland.
David Martindale making his way down the touchline. This is Open All Mics on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Of course, we're on the TV as well this afternoon from 4:30. If you want to tune in and see our ugly mugs on the box for an hour or so. Otherwise, we'll be with you all the way through till full time up at Tannadice, the 8 o'clock kick-off between Dundee United and Hearts. And I'm sure that's going to be a cracker as well. We might touch upon that game in prospect at Tannadice over the course of the next couple of hours. But our main focus will be on the 3 o'clock kick-offs around the country. 3 in the top flight, 4 in the Championship. We've got Ayr United and Raith Rovers covered, as have we Dunfermline and Airdrie also playing in the Championship today. Morton against Ross County, our biggest game down the bottom end of the table, and Queen's Park, who are at the foot of the Championship, up against Arbroath, and a full card in both League 1 and League 2, so we'll keep you up to date with any goals that go in all of those games. Looks like you're underway bright and early, Alan Preston.
We are. It's not 3 o'clock yet and we're off and running. Motherwell, as you can imagine, already settled on the ball. Nice passing move. There's not a Livy player touched it at the moment, but this should be a good game, Alistair. I'm expecting goals here, I really am. Motherwell are brilliant on the eye. Livy are always in games, so looking forward to it.
What's impressed you most about Motherwell this season, Alan?
Everything. Manager turning players that you think, he's getting a tune out with players, he's making them better. The way they play, the confidence he gives them, the way that they want the ball from the back at all times in tight areas, just everything about them has been a joy to watch. It really has, and it's a transformation for players who were good players anyway, but he's turned them into absolute stars. When you look at Maswanise, I think Justice come in and really set the country alight with his performances as well, and more. They've been brilliant.
Yeah, it's dispelled the myth, Al, that certain players can't play a certain way, because there's players in that squad who you would have looked at and thought, aren't particularly, blessed technically in terms of some other players in the league, and they've looked absolutely fantastic. Their movement, their touch, their confidence on the ball, that all comes from clarity of message, clearness of mind, and what you can get out your team. So I agree with Alan there. I mean, the improvement in the players that were already there has been massive, as big as an improvement within a squad of players that I think I've ever seen.
It might be an improvement. Here's a chance for Livy. Oh, he's got to score! What a miss that is. Oh. That's an absolute sitter. It's brilliant play from May. He flicks it over a couple of players. He plays it into
Conor McLennan.
Pittman flicks it on to McLennan. Yeah. He's got to score.
Yeah,
has the keeper saved it?
He just delays. David Martindale spoke about fear. He scored a couple of goals recently, Conor McLennan as well, and much more difficult than that opportunity. He's just got to lift it over the goalkeeper. He does lift it, but he lifts it wide. He's dead centre of the goal. It's a lovely flick from Pittman, as you say.
That's a good save. That's a great save.
Yep. Great save. Brilliant.
Still got to score though.
Yeah, I think he has. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You talk about individual errors, and we spoke about them earlier on. At both ends, he scores that. And how many of those have happened to Livingston?
Yep.
This season, I bet you.
And David Martindale's right to speak if VAR decisions are going against him, but I mean, moments like that make a huge difference. If you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up due to those chances, the VAR decisions, whilst frustrating, don't hold as much significance, if you go on, and win the game by taking these chances.
OK, we're underway at Rugby Park. Willie Miller, Aberdeen up against Kilmarnock, the hosts there, and just in the very early stages of that one.
Yes, we are. We just kicked off, actually. So it hasn't really developed into any kind of competition as yet, but it will be interesting to see how Liam Morrison kind of fills into that right. He's playing right side of the two with Canusta on the left. Obviously, Canusta very good left foot, and Morrison looks an imposing figure, tall. I think Aberdeen need that. They've been lacking an imposing figure, particularly at set pieces, but as yet nothing really to report. It's just too early in the game.
Alan, you're a man who keeps tabs on developing Scottish talent, and Liam Morrison certainly has got He's got great pedigree. Do you expect him to be able to slot into that Aberdeen side pretty comfortably?
Yeah, when you look at him, he's at Celtic, out with Bayern Munich, QPR, and done well at these clubs. So yeah, I think he'd be a really good addition for Aberdeen. It's just what he's got round about him. Is there enough confidence and ability and attitude round about him to help him? But I think he's certainly a real good prospect, Alistair, really is.
Still not underway.
There's a chance! Goal! Motherwell again, Maswanisi. It's a brilliant little dink in. Wait till you see it. We talked about him at the start. Just lovely pass. Maswanisi in between the two centre halves and just lifts it as the keeper comes out over him with a head into the back of the net. Dream start for Motherwell. Maswanisi again, 1-0.
Tom, exactly what you were talking about. One chance for Livingston, should score, misses up the other end.
I mean, it must do David Martindale's head in. Yep. And people will forget the one-on-one that they missed. People will forget that.
Yep.
If they go on and lose this game, people will just go out of the memory bank.
Yeah.
And they had a chance. They had a chance to get momentum in the game, and they blew it. And now Maswanisi again. What a player!
His movement's good. He's right between the two centre backs. It shouldn't happen from a Livingston's perspective. He's not particularly big, Maswanisi, but his movement's good. He's played out wide, back in the pitch.
It's his awareness, Rory, for me.
He's very good.
He knows that the keeper can't be standing on his line, and he lifts it over the top of the goalie, who's what is he, 4 or 5 yards out?
What
maybe
I would
more.
say is the keeper does move towards the ball. His positioning's not great. I'm not a goalkeeper by any stretch, but he's caught in no man's land in terms of he's never getting the ball, so he should probably stay rooted to his line and let the defenders deal with it. If they don't, then he's able to save it. But as I said, I'm not a professional when it comes to goalkeeping, but I think he should maybe do slightly better there. But
the thing is, for Motherwell, was trying to keep a hold of Maswanisi. Window closing, 11 o'clock Monday night, 6 o'clock in England, so it'll be fascinating to see. And I think Eli Just as well, what a player.
Yeah, he's
what
fantastic.
a find
Brilliant.
he's been.
It was Just that played the ball through for him, wasn't it? Terrific ball. It's 12 goals in the league this season for Maswanisi. That puts him out in front as the top scorer in the top flight. You're underway now at St Mirren, Stephen Craigan. Anything happening early doors?
I am indeed, Al. There was a minute's applause there for Bobby Holmes, 93 years of age, former St Mirren player, but also was the physio during the 1987 cup-winning run as well. So here at St Mirren, so we got a minute's applause. Yeah, the game's underway. Dundee have been quite bright at the start of the game. You can tell they're a side, they've got a little bit of confidence about them. I just think St Mirren maybe at times throughout this run, and maybe even the start of this game, a little bit hesitant, not too sure what they are at the moment because results haven't been going for them.
Oh, what a chance, what a chance. Kel Roos comes out, no man's land. I once gave, some top quality goalkeepers a good piece of advice. Stay in your line if you're uncertain. He comes out round about the 18-yard line.
That's Mitov.
Sorry, Mitov. Who did I say?
You said Kelleros, who's in goal at the other end.
He's at the other end. I beg your pardon. It's Mitov that comes out. What a mistake he makes, and he just he doesn't reach the ball. I think it's John Jules, is it, that gets down that right hand side. It's just, he's so fortunate, Mitov, that the ball doesn't end up in the back of the net because it was such a tight angle, but he shouldn't be out there.
It wasn't even that tight an angle. It was Liam Polworth. He goes with the wrong foot, Willie. I think if he goes with his left foot, he rolls at home. He tries to almost wrap his foot round it with his right foot. It looked really awkward the way he tried it. I think he's got to score, but he's got to go with his left foot.
Yeah, Polworth had that, the ball in the back of the net at Fir Park early last week, but that was chalked off. But he should have had the ball in the back of the net there.
That was after.
That was subsequent, Willie. You're right. John Jules had the initial effort blocked by Mitov, and it fell kindly for Polworth, and he should have scored. Just to let you know that in League 2, Jack Leach has put East Kilbride a goal up after that annihilation, you'd have to say, at home to Spartans during the week. They're 1-up against Forfar in the early stages, and Annan have just scored through Aidan Smith. That's them 1-up against Clyde in the same division.
See in the conversation before the game started, you pick out Mitov and you say that he's got to improve, he's got to be better, he's got to make better decisions. Cross balls have been a problem for him where he comes and goes back into his line. That's the same example of it. I don't understand why he finds the need to come out when there's two centre backs going back. The ball is bouncing outside the box as well. He just puts his defender in two minds as well, but he's nowhere near the ball. It should be 1-0 for Kilmarnock.
Graham Shinney in the book already, will it?
That's the worry. I'm talking about Morrison earlier. You've got a goalie behind him. It's a bag of nerves.
Going to go back to this Livy stats.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to you, you've knocked it out of the park with the Hamilton one.
Oh yeah.
22 without a win
Yep.
in 2010-11.
Is that what I said?
Yes.
Yeah, 10, 11, yeah.
I think the update here is that the Livy stat relates to the SPFL.
Right.
So
okay.
since 2013,
Yeah, I can't even remember.
that's 22 years.
Right.
But they're on course to,
It's offside.
if they lose today, that's 22 and they're matching Hamilton.
Have you two got nothing better to do tonight?
I think
Well, I mean, we're just bringing the full package
the
of
question stands.
analysis and stats to our adoring listeners, Chick.
Yeah. I'm just, Alistair, dear old Bobby Holmes, what a great man, 93 got to. I remember him very well as a physio at St Mirren, and indeed he was about 1987 Cup final. Great guy, St Mirren through and through, and I know a lot of fans will raise a glass to Bobby. It says great memories of not. It was the Love Street, of course, in his pomp, but he'll be fondly remembered, and I remember him very well. Bobby, great guy, great man. It was always about the players loved him.
that's some nice words there, Chick. Lovely tribute from you there. Josh Gentles has put Alloa 1 up on Cove Rangers on loan from Rangers. What's happening in your game, Chick? Anything
It's
much?
off the line. It's a header. It could have been 2-0. It was McGinn with a header. It's knocked off the line by Stevie May from a corner for Motherwell. Living dangerously, Livingston. Really good play again from Motherwell. Great ball in, good header. That's a added advantage having someone on the post.
So it's all up to answer your question. It's all Wraith Rovers, actually, to be honest with you, so far. I worry about Jack Hamilton. There's a ball whipped in the right hand side. The United goalkeeper, change of goalkeeper today. Mac Thompson cut it cleanly out there. Hamilton seemed to go for it. I think he landed awkwardly. Play had raged on, he just fell, he just crumbled in the 6-yard box. So play was held up for a couple of minutes. He's had treatment, he's back on, but it's all Wraith Rovers getting forward. Remember, Ayr really had alarm bells ringing around about this in terms of getting themselves into the playoff place. If Wraith Rovers win this, they'll leapfrog Ayr, and Ayr would drop in its 6th spot. They're getting forward now, trying to get the first attack of the game for them. That's off. No, it's not. Play rages on. So it's still 0-0 at the moment, Alan. I would say Wraith Rovers with a grip in it. And I'm saying all that. Mistake at the back. Oh, what a save. Great effort. Fantastic effort from Mark McKenzie. Curled it away to the goalkeeper's left-hand post. Josh Ray down his left side. As soon as I said it was all Wraith Rovers, I'd say it with the best chance of the first instalment of this game.
Thanks, Chick. Yeah.
Here's a question. Come Tuesday morning, is Maswanisi still a Motherwell player?
Well, Tom, sorry, I was going to come in on that because if Kieran Bowie with 9 goals is going for 6 million, there's no way Motherwell can say, well, OK, we'll accept 2.5 or 3. Not a chance in a million years. He can play wide, he can play centre forward, and what he's shown, he can score all types of goals. So I would imagine that will be the gauge. Somewhere close to that if someone wants to come and try and pinch him before the window shuts.
One of the things
still a Motherwell player.
One of the things that might affect the price, though, Craigs, is I think in terms of comparing the two goal tallies, you're absolutely right. But if when is he out of contract? Because that's going to be a factor in terms of a fee.
I think he's got minimum another 18 months.
Yeah,
minimum.
I think he has, Stephen. I think he's
plus Motherwell have another option. Motherwell have an option for another year, as I understand.
That's what I understand as well, Stephen. The rest of the season plus next season. So you're absolutely right. I think, it really gets to me that Rangers and Celtic go and spend fortunes and bang average players elsewhere, and they would spend money with Scottish clubs. It's been peppered. It's been and people have a go about Scottish clubs hanging on and demanding fees. They're quite right to do that. They went and discovered this. Nobody had heard of Mass when he said
Good save. Motherwell were starting to get in the groove now. Really good play, lovely 1-2. Slattery with a volley. Really good save by the keeper.
Just on Chick's point, it's something I agree with. I think if Maswanisi had scored that amount of goals in the Austrian league and Rangers go and sign somebody who scored 15 goals in the Austrian league and 5-6 assists, young player, you're looking at it going, that's a great bit of business. But at the same time, you're not willing to do it for players within your own league, and there is other reasons for that, Chick, because Celtic and Rangers can go and put bids in and Motherwell can't refuse to turn them down. The difference this time is Motherwell could get into Europe, and that could make a big difference financially, so they might want to keep a hold of Maswanisi.
I think there's a couple of things in there as well. I think the Lennon Miller money, there's still a good chunk of that there.
Yep.
If he makes progress, they get a bit more from that. Crowds are up by maybe 1,500, sometimes 2,000 at home. So there's plenty of money sitting about. Motherwell aren't desperate to go and sell their prized asset. You're right, there's more benefits than keeping Maswanisi and Elijah Just and Elliot Watt. Keep them now until the summer. if everything progresses as it has been, their value suddenly goes up a little bit more. But I think there's a little bit of ignorance around Scottish football where it almost seems not right to go and sign someone from your own league when they've actually probably been.
I don't think Celtic.
Sonan Larson had a really good strike there, an excellent save on this occasion from Mitov, and Kelly get a corner. But Kelly very much in top here.
In terms of Masmanisi, I don't think, and it is Celtic. Celtic need this player, a player of this ilk. As you say, played through the middle, can play wide, can score, clever player. But are they going to pay $6 million? No, they're not.
Kelly get the goal. It's a little touch on. Not too sure who's actually got the touch on it in the box here.
Brad Lyons it is. It gets a header, a little flick on, cross from the left-hand side, and it's just drifting.
We've got a goal. Oh!
Yes, Derek.
I tell you what, they've deserved it. They've been excellent without creating any chances. A free kick for Airdrie. Henderson, he doesn't connect with it probably as well as he would have liked. But the keeper, I've got to say, Dunfermline keeper makes a hashy at Mehmet, just down to his right hand side. He should palm it away, ends up in the back of the net, but probably deserved because Dunfermline have been good this first 10 minutes. So it's Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1.
It's poor defending from Aberdeen, I think, Willie. First and foremost, I think Mitov can catch the first one. He punches it. He does get a good distance on it, but it goes back out into a wider area. It's a ball into the box from Kiltie, and it's a really good header from Brad Lyons, but nobody within, 2-3 yards of him. It's a free header in the box. Aberdeen don't look like they've been at it so far.
Is he definitely going to touch on that, you think?
Lyons?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, no, he did. No, that's been the problem. They don't make first contact. With crosses into the box.
Free header for Lyons.
It's a decent ball into the box, but you've got to have, central defenders prepared to go and judge the flight of the ball and actually win the header first, make that first contact. And Aberdeen simply don't do it.
That goal that Derek brought us has lifted the spirit sound here. Both Ayr United and Drayton Rovers interested in Dunfermline losing today. Is Dom Thomas playing today, Derek?
No, he's on the bench, Chick. So he has. Chick, you've watched a lot of Airdrie last season. I've not watched a lot of them myself. They've been different class. First 10 minutes, they've controlled this game. They're enjoying the surface, and they've deserved that lead. There's not been a lot.
Bruce Anderson. Second goal.
Wow.
Bruce Anderson makes no mistake. What? John Jules, it sets him up. It's a lovely set up for the striker, and he just gets his head over it and drills it into the back of the net. It starts again. If you can replay that, Mitov all over the place. A little pass back to him. He swipes at it, goes out for the throw-in. From the resulting throw-in, Kilmarnock have possession. The build-up's really good. The finish is excellent. Mitov is nowhere. He's blaming everybody else, but he's a bag of nerves.
Don't worry, Willie, you're a manager in 6 months' time. Don't worry.
So it's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0 in the early stages. Neil McCann has said he'd love a good start in that one. That's certainly what they've got. Brad Lyons' first league goal of the season, added to by Bruce Anderson's fourth of the campaign. The other goal in the top flight has come at Ammon Vale, but it came for the visitors.
So many Aberdeen defenders standing watching it. Goes into the striker. Anderson's the only one who reads the ball and turns, and it's a great finish from Anderson. It's by the goalkeeper before he knows it. But
I tell you, for a team that haven't won in forever, Killie have a real strut, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They
but
really have a bit of confidence.
Aberdeen conceded 2 last week, Willie. You've got 6 in you.
It's amazing though, Tom, you're saying that when you're a team that's struggling, suddenly you go ahead and then you get a second. Everyone wants the ball. Confidence can come flooding back to players, and that's what Neil's getting at the minute. I think Livingston had it for a little spell last week. They went 2-1 up, but then they gave away dreadful goals, which absolutely killed them. So that's something Kilmarnock have to try and guard against this afternoon.
Still could be 6-2 though, guys.
Yep.
You're on a roll now, Willie. Look at this, Willie. You're rolling in goals all of a sudden.
Just
notice. I think you're dreaming a little bit. Come on.
Just looking at the video printer that's coming into the studio.
What's wrong with dreaming?
Josh Gentle scored, and then it was corrected to an own goal, and then it went back to Josh Gentle scoring. But just on Josh Gentle, I'm right in saying he was on the bench.
He was on the bench in Porto, yeah.
That's an example of the cooperation system working well for loans. I mean, I was kept at Rangers sometimes to make up numbers in European squads and things like that, and I didn't have the opportunity to play on a Saturday. So that's an example of getting that exposure to huge games on a Thursday and then going out, getting your football in on a Saturday and getting a real grounding. So that's an example of that particular scheme which we spoke about at the start of the season, working really well.
And that's his second goal in 3 matches for Alloa, so he's certainly doing them a a decent turn. They've only got one win in their last 7 in the league, but still in 4th place.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters. Watch this. Just watch them on that left-hand side. Brilliant.
This is Motherwell, Alan.
Oh, magnificent. Honestly, just involved again. Said's involved. Masmanisi with an initial flick to get them going. It's magnificent stuff.
Hope they didn't handle it.
Doesn't matter, Chick. Honestly, they can do what they want.
Good defended in the end.
Yeah, well, Motherwell continue to impress. Livingston need to make sure they don't add to their tally, but Aberdeen up against it down at Rugby Park. Still goalless with you, Stephen Craigan.
It is indeed, Alistair, and I've got to say Dundee have probably been the better team. They should have had a goal just after 10 minutes. It was a cross from the left-hand side from Tony Yogan, and Shamal George came out to grab it. It actually went through his fingers and it caught Cameron Congreve by surprise in his first touch, and he just put it past the post, where if he had composed himself and taken a touch he could have rolled it in. But Dundee looked really controlled. I've watched Dundee numerous times in the first part of the season. They looked a little bit disjointed. They weren't too sure what they were trying to do. Very particular today, really assured in their passing, their possession, what they're trying to do. They've got Simon Murray at the top end of the pitch. He's got a little bit of pace. Tony Yogan has got pace down the left-hand side. St Mirren, on the other hand, have been a little bit sloppy. They've made 4 changes from 11 days ago against Livingston, and they're still trying to find each other out. They're not too sure what they are at this moment in time. So it may be 0-0, but I think Dundee have shaded it up to this point.
Back in the Championship, Morton have gone 1 up on Ross County. It's Eamon Brophy's 5th goal of the season as they look for a first win in 8. They haven't won since they beat Queen's Park at the start of December. That's their only victory in 10. So Ian Murray will be hoping they can hold on and inflict a bit more damage on Ross County's hopes of turning things round down at the bottom. What about your game, Chick? Ayr United, Raith Rovers still goalless there as well?
Yeah, still goalless. Ayr are getting themselves into it a little bit more. As I said earlier on, the early pressure was all Raith Rovers, but the tide has turned a little bit, and I have to say that Curtis Main causing a few problems for the Raith Rovers defences, and from the start today, 3 changes actually in Scott Brown's team, and he's changed the goalkeeper again. He's got a thing about goalkeepers, over the last couple of years, keep switching them. He's got to change that again. Ayr United got a free kick outside the box here. Raith Rovers, Dougie Emery down there having a word with the linesman. He's had a real to tip his left ear in a bucket of cold water at the end of this game. Dougie's been in it all the time through this early stages of the match. Let's see, this free kick can come to anything else outside the box. They're going to just chip this to the far post. They'll try and get the header, and that Raith Rovers have dealt with it and lumped up the park. So it's still 0-0.
Kai Kennedy's equalised for Queen of the South at home to Inverness Cally Thistle. That's his 5th league goal of the season. That's 3rd against first in that one. It's a big game.
Shinnie's already been booked, and he's just given away a free kick. The fans are irate. I don't think anything's going to come from it, but Shinnie having a word with the referee. The Kilmarnock fans not happy as well, and you can hear in the background, I'm sure, that the Kilmarnock fans are not happy.
It's not a booking though, is it?
It's not a booking, that one, Rory.
No, it's not even close. I mean, I think it's David Watson or Brad Lyons. He gets close to him, Graham Shinnie, but the ball's cleared and he just jumps in the air. It's not even close to being a booking. I think Graham Shinnie's trying to explain that to the referee, Willie.
Do you not think that Shinnie, though, should just ease off in it a little bit after being booked? He's got enough experience to be able to do that.
That's a fair point, I think.
That's all I'm thinking in that circumstance. If he goes into another challenge, that's a problem. That's what his game's all about, isn't it? It's about making these challenges, but
I don't even know if you could describe it as a challenge, though. I mean, I don't think he touches him, he just jumps in the air.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I get a bad view of it.
Well, we've seen this a few weeks ago with Cobangolo getting taken off by Davy Martindale after about 9 minutes, whatever it was. He had 3 fouls in opening 9 minutes, and the manager had to take him off. Is that something that the manager of Aberdeen would possibly think about?
Well, I think if it's just the way the fans react, the way the referees react. It was never going to. Oh, steering me. The foul's given. Meathoff dropped another cross ball, would you believe?
Motherwell were through again. They're on a 2-on-1. He's just, if he picks his head up, he's got a chance of finding Maswell. And he's hit the post. Livingston are all over the place at the back. Great play again from Motherwell. It's the way that they free one of them, and the ball's not gone out. It's hit the corner flag and stayed in, and Livingston have just switched off. So Motherwell got the ball again. Could have been 2-0.
My eyes get drawn to your game as soon as you said about the chance, Alan. I'm watching 2v1 at the back, and they should score, and St Mirren should have scored as well, Craigs.
Yeah, well, I was going to come in there. It was almost a perfect counter-attacking goal because it was a corner for Dundee. They give the ball away on the edge of the box. Etete travels 70, 80 yards. He's overlapped on the right-hand side by Alex Gogic. He then whips it across the face of goal, and who's there? Miguel Freckleton, the other left centre half, and he somehow put it past the post. It was easier to put it in the back of the net, and he actually hits the outside of his left foot. So a big let-off for Dundee, but St Mirren will be disappointed they aren't at the front.
Rory, did you see that Nisbet chance there? He has a swipe at it. I think he misses it as Armstrong does well down the left-hand side, and the ball comes back off the goalkeeper and has a swipe at it. Does he just hit it completely?
We only got one view of it. He certainly it didn't seem to generate much power, is what I would say. Well, it looked a little bit awkward, but good initial save from a tight angle from Kilrush. But shots on Peter leaving just now. Willie looks a little bit unhappy, shall we say?
Yeah, well, Aberdeen's not been in it. That's been their first venture. That's been their first opportunity really in the game. So, you know, it's been about Kilmarnock being well on top, and they've been peppering the Aberdeen penalty box too. So they're 2-0 up. They thoroughly deserve it.
Elsewhere, Scotland news. Lyndon Dykes has scored for Charlton today. First goal since September the 20th.
Yeah, seen that right on half-time.
In the Championship, worrying time for Queen's Park. They're a goal down at home to Arbroath. Scott Robinson getting his second goal since joining the third place side, so they're looking good certainly for the playoffs. But Queen's Park already bottom of the table ahead of today, a goal down in the early stages.
Tom, we've had a few conversations over the last couple of years about the overall standard of the league. It's quite a vague question, but it's a good discussion point. But I wasn't on last Saturday, but I was listening to parts of the show, and at one point you went to divulge your thoughts on the standard overall this season, and shuffled forward in my seat, turned it up a bit, then there was a goal and it never came back to it. So it's a sincere question, not a loaded question, just on do you think it's been better than it's certainly more competitive?
We think a loaded one, Roddy, come on.
No, it's a totally legitimate question, and my answer is I think the quality has improved in certain areas. I think Celtic haven't, but certain Motherwell have taken massive strides ahead. Falkirk have been wonderful,
phenomenal. Yeah.
So that's prop. I think that's quality football that we're seeing, particularly from Motherwell and Falkirk. Outstanding stuff. I mean, I really enjoy watching it. And it's not just. It's always going to be entertainment in the Premier League, the Premiership. But what we're seeing from a number of clubs is actually a bit of class as well.
Another incident in the dressing room way back in the day, and Sir Alec was having a go at Stuart Kennedy, and he says to Stuart, "Your crossing's pathetic, Kennedy." And Stuart says, "No, it's not. It's brilliant. It's brilliant." And Fergie went on, "No, it's pathetic." And Kennedy says, "No, it's no. And Fergie turned to Archie and says, "Archie, what do you think?" And Archie says, "I think it's improved." And Kennedy says, "Oh, it's improved to pathetic."
It's certainly been a really interesting top flight this season for sure, and the three-way battle at the top. We'll see how Hearts get on. They can obviously extend their advantage over Rangers and Celtic by beating, or indeed drawing, with Dundee United up at Tannadice later on. That looks like a cracker in itself, doesn't it?
It certainly does, yeah. And I mean, Hearts are, again, I include Hearts in that. I think I've really enjoyed watching Hearts. I think there's kind of somewhere other managers around the league a bit sniffy about Hearts, accusing them of being overly physical and stuff like that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I think Hearts have been outstanding. So I'm really looking forward to that one, Al.
I think Alistair, you factually said if they get a draw,
here's a chance for 2-0. It's 2-0. He's done it again. Maswanisi again.
Finish again.
Great finish. Just opens his body up, curls it beyond the keeper. 2-0 to Motherwell.
The amount of space, Alan, that Motherwell players are getting afforded in this, is that just come from good movement, good interchange, or are Livingston really struggling to handle them overall?
Both. Absolutely both. Livingston are all over the place, and Motherwell are just stepping into spaces and they can't pick them up. It's so easy for them. That's not a normal Motherwell goal that we've seen this year, where they've passed right through the thirds and got there. This has been quite an easy one for them, to be honest, and it's a lovely finish again from Maswanisi, and it just extends his top goal scorer. That's now 13 goals in the league for him.
Yes, it is.
Brilliant finish. Like, I don't know.
It's the old Thierry Henry one, isn't it? On the angle, wrap your foot round it, find the bottom corner.
Terrible defending, but what a finish.
I think
Gorgeous.
just tries to reverse it, and does it? I think he tries to reverse it with his right foot. I think Finlayson with a horrendous touch.
Horrendous touch.
And then it goes to Maswanisi.
Should have been a second for McKinnon. What a game this is. It's turning into. It's not just a football game, it's a rugby game. Just Dunfermline breaking there, and you know, you can block people, you can get in their way, their pathway, but actually the Airdrie boys were actually, it looked as if they were tackling the Dunfermline players. It was unbelievable. Two of them, Rudden was hauled down.
That's a goal.
Yes, check.
Oh, it's Ayr United to obtain the lead. I think it's Curtis Main with the final touch. It's a free kick whipped in by Ben Dempsey. I'm not sure if Main got a touch on it. He's running in the 6-yard box. The ball is curling. I've got a great line on it. It curls. The goalkeeper's fooled. Main gets across. He looks as if he's claiming a touch, but I think the boys down there know that will go down to number 8, Ben Dempsey, with a free kick. 1-0 Ayr United.
It's
We've
incredible.
got a problem here.
The book Gilmer, and he's been, I mean, I've seen it, it's stand side. The boy, I'm trying to look, it's hard to make out sometimes the Airdrie guy's numbers, but Gilmer for Dunfermline, breaking forward, he's trying to make it to the box, and he's rugby tackled, basically. I think it might have been McMaster, but ridiculous somewhere. You know, and the referee's he's booked Gilmer and other players. Gilmer had nothing to do with it. I don't know why he's came to that conclusion.
Aberdeen got a problem here. Matt Canister's been down for the last minute and a half. He went up, I think it was Bruce Anderson. He went over the top of Bruce Anderson, landed awkwardly on the surface, and they immediately got the physios on. That's both sets of physios are on. They've got the stretcher out as well. There's 4 medics out there too now, along with 4 or at least 3 physios, and I can see, I think it's maybe 4 physios, so it looks as though they're going to have to take him off. It was a knotward fall. They called for the medical attention immediately, and I don't think he's going to take any further part in this game.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Well, the pictures we are seeing for sure, not seeing a repeat of the fall itself, but certainly we can see all the medical teams on attending to Matt Canister, so we hope that is not as serious as it potentially looks.
Just here at Livingston, just to let you know, and this is up one for Tom, Livingston have had more possession, Tom. It's mad, but honestly, it's as if they're never in the game, but it's like you just wonder what the XG is, and it was described to me this week, and I said, I thought about Tom right away. XG is for people who wait for the green man at 3 a.m. when there's no vehicles on the road.
Well, you know, I embrace all of the modern technologies and data, as well as being a bit old school myself, Alan. But
I don't think we should be too sniffy about.
No, let's not be sniffy about XG.
Tom, you're a forward-thinking man. Tom, you're very forward-thinking.
I like to think so, Craig. I like to think so.
Spot on.
Right, I need to bring you up to date.
Just on your point, Alan. Sorry, you were talking about saying that Livingston are always in games. You've got a great fight about them, but they can't defend. The manner of the goals they concede, and usually the timing of the goals they concede, is always going to be their Achilles heel. They can attack as well as they want and as much of the ball. They simply cannot defend, and that's what's going to kill them.
No, but I mean, obviously I was here when Hart scored in the 94th minute the other week against St Mirren. They scored late on as well. They're losing goals, and you're right, it's all about not being able to see games out, and that's the difference. And it's just been a disaster for them from one to another. But today, they've got no excuse today. They've defended poorly, but they're getting outclassed by a fast.
Maswinisi was nearly in there again, Alan. If the pass was right, they need to be careful, Livingston. This doesn't get too messy before half time.
This guy is a special player, I think, Maswinisi. I mean, it's like if you're
saying too loud, Tom, that might catch on to some people.
I know, but I mean, I just can't. Well, I can fathom why Celtic are dragging their heels here, because as Roy was saying, you'd rather go to Slovakia or the second tier in Italy or someplace. This guy is staring them in the face, and if they were properly functioning outfit, they'd look at Maswinisi. He's a player in a position that they need to fill. They've got 77 million in the bank. They've got more European money coming. Why not go and put in an offer that Motherwell are going to say yes to?
And people will say, oh, that's too much. It's too much for Maswinisi. The reality is, any club that Celtic approach, whether it's in Europe or in the UK, is going to see Celtic, and they're going to see two things. They're going to see the money in the bank and the desperation for get players in. They will have to overpay in the next 2 days if it's a permanent signing for any player they go for.
That is correct.
So why not do it on Maswinisi?
He's 23. He just turned 23 in November. This is a young player.
Last year, was he? He wasn't. Craig, you'll be able to tell us. He wasn't a regular.
Well, he was
last year.
He was in and out, Alan.
It just shows you what a manager does to players.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Let me just update a few goals that have gone in around the country. That Ayr United one, Chick, it was given on the video printer as Dempsey. I think you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, you did clarify that. Okay, good man.
I said Dempsey.
Good stuff.
Whipped the free kick in. Curtis Main went as if he got a touch there, but the players all acknowledged that Dempsey. So I don't argue with me.
Good show.
You know it makes sense.
Aidan Connolly got an equaliser for Queen's Park against Arbroath, so that's one apiece in that one. Dumbarton 1 up on Edinburgh City in League 2. East Kilbride 2-0 up now through Cameron Elliott on Forfar. Elgin City 1, Spartans 1. Mark McNulty scored a penalty there to bring the league leaders level, and Peterhead going back to League 1. There, a goal up away to second place Stennismuir. Kieran Shanks has got them in front. And in England, Bournemouth have just gone 1 up away to Wolves. It's Krupi, it's got that one. And Martin Zubimendi had put Arsenal 1 up away to Leeds United. I think that's you caught up with all the goals. Willie, this is quite troubling, isn't it, that Mats Knuster is still receiving treatment. It's not a good look.
No, it's not. I mean, I can't comment on what's wrong with him. It was actually Greg Kelty had kind of taken the opportunity to go into a kind of a midfield area. Knuster, he was up to head the ball, and it went over the top of Kelty, and he's been lying down there for a good 3 minutes now. I would
easily,
maybe a little bit more than that. So whatever he's done, it's serious. We've got 6 medics round about him, along with 4 physios, 2 in the stretchers out. So we can only hope that everything's okay. He's obviously getting very close attention as well, so he'll be leaving the field of play very shortly after some considerable time. The game has been held up for, and I think it's Sivert Nielsen. It looks as though he's going to come on. Not 100% sure, but he's certainly warming up. But I think our thoughts should be with Mats Knuster at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tom and I have just watched a rerun of that. We don't want to speculate on the nature of the injury, but clearly it's a bad fall, let's put it that way, for sure, and the length of time and the care they are taking over getting him moved off the pitch. He's now in a stretcher, and he'll be taken off and given obviously the best possible medical attention, and we wish Mats Knuster well and a speedy recovery from that. But
absolutely,
a big delay down at Rugby Park, where it remains Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0. It's Livingston 0, Motherwell 2. And surprisingly enough, Stephen Craigan, the 2 lowest scoring sides in the division haven't produced one so far this afternoon. Has been anything to whet your appetite at all?
Well, you cursed it, Al, right at the very start. You told me that. I had looked at it but didn't want to say it, and you actually said it. But I think between the boxers, it's actually a decent game. It's quite competitive, but just at this moment, it's that final little bit of quality at the top end of the pitch, that little bit of composure or that weight of pass that can get the teammate in. That's what's kind of eluded them both. Dundee, I have to say, they've been so much better watched now than what they were earlier in the season. Ethan Hamilton's really impressed me. He just wants to control everything. He's the instigator in the middle of the pitch, always looking to take the ball. There's a real composure about Dundee that wasn't there 7, 8, 9 weeks ago. What they now need is the bit at the top end of the pitch, that final piece of the jigsaw. But St Mirren have grown into the game, but really still, I'm not too sure. Clearly they're not full of confidence. They're lacking a little bit of belief in themselves. Whoever gets the first goal in this game is going to get a massive lift from it, but it looks a long way off at this moment in time with 33 minutes in the clock.
Your house is safe for now, Craig? Still 0-0?
Yeah, it could be safe for a long time. It could be safe until about 12 o'clock tonight, the way they're playing.
Maswanisi scored 6 consecutive games now, including the African Cup of Nations goal.
And I don't think he's finished yet today. I think he'll get the hat-trick. Livingston are honestly all over the place, and he's in again. He's last man again. He might be offside, but he's in, and he's hit it over the top of the bar. Flag stays down. Yeah, he was in again. That could have been the hat-trick.
I mean, we go from the sublime play. That is as route one as you can get, Alan. That is just
Rory. What is happening? So they've got Finlayson and McGowan as his 2 centre halves. Davies told them to go man for man, so just drops into midfield, and McGowan's been going with him, which leaves Finlayson with Maswanisi on their own. It's a mismatch.
It is, and the gaps between as a right centre back, he needs to be across, he needs to be close, he needs to pull his full back in. The spaces are huge between the two centre backs and the centre back and the full back, and Maswinisi is just exploiting it every time. I mean, that is just it's a decent pass, but it should be a much more difficult pass than it was. And Maswinisi's first touch with his chest across the defender, really good. I don't know if it was maybe in his mind, Alan, that he was going to get flagged offside. He looked quite relaxed with the shot.
Yeah.
You would imagine, scoring 2 goals, you'd want to complete the hat-trick as quickly as possible, but you would certainly expect him to score after his first 2.
Elgin City have gone back in front against the league leaders in League 2. Kane Hester on the score sheet there against Spartans. Also, Brian Chanley's put Stirling Albion a goal up on Stranraer, 6 for the season for him, and there was another goal in League 1. East Fife a goal down at home to Montrose. East Fife, they were scudded at home last week by Queen of the South 5-1. They've lost their last 6.
They're in again. No, honestly, it's party tricks.
Oh, that's nice.
Look at this.
Got to be.
Back heel.
It's gone.
Oh, it should have been equaliser. It's brilliant play down that left-hand side. I think it's Todd, whips it across. There's Rodden, 6-yard box. Just trying to get his side foot on it. Does it get a connection? And there's Hamilton just clipping the bar with a curling left foot shot. So a lot better now over the last 5-10 minutes from the home side as I try to find that equaliser. Still remains Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1.
Sam Culbert's quickly equalised for East Fife against Montrose. I was just going to tell you about their dreadful recent record. Campbell's side, I think, lost the plot in the post-match interviews after that drubbing by Queen of the South last weekend. Well, his side have got themselves level at 1 apiece. First goal of the season for Sam Culbert, and Arsenal have gone 2-0 up. It's a Carol Darlow OG. It's Leeds 0, Arsenal 2.
I don't know how Bruce Anderson has missed that header. I don't know if you get sight of it.
Bit of a sitter, really.
For goodness sake. I mean, Trevor Nielsen, it drops over his head. The only excuse you could give Bruce is that he didn't see it until late, but surely he's got to make contact with that.
He was about 3 yards offside, Willie.
Was he?
So he's come back into play. But I agree with you, he's got to do better with the header for sure. It's not dissimilar to the Brad Lyons one, actually.
That's another example.
Oh, it's a pass back. It's nearly a nightmare for Range Rovers. A pass back. Goalkeeper keeps his eyes off it. It's going to go into the goal. He thunders after it. It just catches it just at the post. Nearly an absolute nightmare of an own goal for the Range Rovers. Still 1-0 here.
It's always good to get interrupted by a pass back, isn't it?
If it's going into a goal, I think it's a legitimate interruption. I pressed my buzzer.
Willie, do you think, from a Kilmarnock point of view, do you think those signings coming in and sitting on the bench has been the catalyst, or one of the catalysts, for the upping in performance from certain individuals?
I think it doesn't do any harm. You can't say definitively, but I don't think it does any harm when you see new faces coming in, during the window. I think it lifts the dressing room. Rory, I would say that. But I think you've got to give credit to the management team as well for... they've been speaking about the lacking in confidence now. This side came out right from the very start. Obviously, there's been a lot of work done in the training field, and they look like a team that are actually full of confidence because they're taking Aberdeen apart.
Yeah, there's a goal that went in. No, it was the one I was going to tell you about there. I think it was Dumbarton against Edinburgh City. City equalising away from home. Innes Lawson with the 7th goal of this season. For the bottom side in League 2. Remember, they were docked 15 points earlier in the season, but they've actually got an away record second only to the top team, Spartans.
Right, he's in again! Oh, good save. Maswinisi could have had 5. Prior at his near post. It's a lovely 1-2. Saeed, a really good play by them again, and he's in. Shot at the angle, comfortable save.
They're just on a different level, aren't they? In terms of speed of thought, speed of movement. And and I'm sure it's not easy, but it looks effortless, Alan. The way they're scything through Livy.
They've been brilliant. So I said I watched them early on in the season, right early up at Dens, and I thought, wow. And then I've seen them at Tynecastle as well, 3-0 up, drew 3-0. And every time I watched them, and I've said it on the radio, this is the best Motherwell football side I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I'll stick with it.
I think
Do you think they're going to finish Biscuits in the league?
I think they'll finish 4th.
I think it's a good point as well, because there's a tendency to say, well, Livingston are bottom of the league, they're low in confidence, defensively they're not great, etc. But the fact, as Alan and Tom say, the fact that they've done this to, at some point, nearly every team in the league. You know, just goes to show that it's not a one-off. It's not because they're playing Livingston. It's because they're really good.
And you're talking about the windows.
You said they were showboating.
Yeah.
You said showboating.
There's a wee
That's just how
Rabona
they
in
play.
there.
That's just what they do. That's just how they play. They flick it round the corner. They don't mind a little bit of invention and taking risks.
The big. I know that everyone's talking about Masvanisi, and rightly so, but the worry for me would be the manager. That would be the real worry for me if I'm Motherwell, because he's the one that makes it all happen for them.
Yeah, no, he's done an incredible job, Jens Bertolasco, and given that he came into the club pretty much, I would imagine, unknown to most people in Scotland. Certainly, I hadn't heard of him, he hadn't been on my radar, but he's just been
this
a
one
breath of fresh air.
This one for you, you've got to vote now. Who's the manager of the year in Scotland?
Derek McKinnon.
Is it? Or is it Jens?
John McGlynn.
Oh, John McGlynn, there you go.
John McGlynn surely can't win it for a third time, can he?
Well, what's interesting there, all those suggestions, Celtic and Rangers manager not included.
But you would be saying the same, Tom, if you're talking about player of the year.
You would, but it's rare, isn't it?
Masvanisi, you'd be Devlin, you'd be guys like that.
Totally. But normally you'd have a Celtic or a Rangers manager in there, normally. But now you wouldn't have a Celtic or Rangers manager anywhere near it.
I know when the vote takes place, there's a lot still to play for. I think that would be very telling this year, as opposed to other years. You know, Motherwell have
You would think if Danny Rule won the league, he would certainly be in the conversation, because considering where Rangers were, there's no one in this programme would have ever thought Rangers could have done what they've done so far in the games. No one could see it at all.
Yep.
So that tells you more about the manager than actually the players, doesn't it? So he would certainly be in the conversation if they won the league, and it's a massive if.
Totally. I mean, there's an awful lot of games to be played, but there's an awful lot of interesting characters as well on a prospective shortlist here. That'll change.
But I think what's exciting, Tom, is there's 4 or 5 people we're talking about instead of just being one standout candidate, which tells you again the standard of the league going up, the managers improving, players improving teams. That's what we want to see.
I mean, if Hearts win the league, it's Derek McInnes all day long, right?
Yeah. The problem is when the vote takes place. Of course, I would hope that all 3 teams would still, or consider Motherwell as well, at least 3 teams would be involved at that point. You know, I want it to go right to the wire. I want all 3, possibly 4, you never know, teams to be involved right to the wire. I mean, we're going to be in for, never in my lifetime have I experienced Hearts playing on a Saturday with a view to putting the pressure on Rangers and Celtic going into a Sunday. It is a great time to be a Scottish football fan, and you know, games on the television tonight, go home, watch that, and then you sit down and you get ready for the games tomorrow. It's brilliant.
And that's the issue when we start to put in our votes. We don't know who's won the league.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's always a problem, but it could be a bigger problem this season.
Normally you do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
half time at Livingston, who are booed off 2-0 to a brilliant Motherwell.
Thanks, Alan. East Fife 1, Montrose 2. Taylor Sutherland got a penalty. That's his second of the day, second goal of the day. And Queen's Park have gone 2-1 up just before half time on Arbroath. It's a 4th goal of the season for Seb Drozd, who of course scored that historic goal at Ibrox, and they'll get a chance to do the same again next weekend when they meet Rangers once more in the Scottish Cup after that reprieve following the defeat by Stranraer. But Stranraer booted out of the competition for playing an ineligible player, so they're missing out on a big payday at Ibrox. Queen's Park will get that instead. So half-time whistles are blowing all around the country. Of course, there'll be a good deal of stoppage time played at Rugby Park between Kilmarnock and Aberdeen after the lengthy treatment received on the pitch by Mats Knuster. Claims for a penalty there, Willie?
No, it's a goal kick.
Yeah, but claims for a penalty?
Aye, from who? The referee pointed immediately. Did they not?
Yeah, I think it was the fans. I think the fans we could hear.
It's a terrible.
Yeah, but you expect the fans to do that. I don't know. It's poor defending from Nicky Devlin, Bruce Anderson.
Yeah,
you know, makes it difficult for them, and then they go to the byline. Usually, have got a better.
It's definitely not.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And the referee didn't think so.
He should never
either.
put himself in that position in the first place. To be fair,
but hey, poor defending from Aberdeen. You know, I mean, it's a phrase that I use often. They're reviewing it as they would, but let's see if we're right or wrong.
I mean, from the angle I've seen, I just don't see it.
We're right. Yeah, we are right.
How many minutes have we added on time? Is that really? Did you notice?
Pass.
You just held up the board, but I couldn't hear the Tannoy announcer.
Yeah, I can't hear the
Neil McCann. We're seeing pictures of Neil McCann. He clearly thought it was a penalty, but I think
he's not seen it again. Clearly,
slightly biased. Yeah.
Come on. Yes, indeed.
But So half time at Armand Vale, and it is Livingston 0, Motherwell 2.
Remember, Alistair, that Scott Brown's United leading 1-0. In fact, there's a half time whistle right that second against Drover. Not. Of course, he was red carded last week at Partick Thistle, so it's Stephen Whittaker down there taking the team. Scott Brown watched from the stand. 1-0 half time, Ayr United.
9 minutes is the answer to
9
your
minutes.
question. Yep.
Okay, Willie. A bit of a set to St Mirren there, Stephen. What's going on?
No, there's an injury actually. Tony Yogan is down injured. Nick Walsh did want to speak to Jan Danda. I think he had something to say to the referee. He was just telling him to keep his mouth shut and get on with the game. But during that incident, then Tony Yogan has gone down with it looks like a knee injury, a hamstring injury. So that's a reason why we have a slight delay.
Okay, so nearly half time in that one as well. But proceedings at Rugby Park will continue almost, I would imagine, until the other two kick back off again for the second half. But we'll certainly bring you updates of what's been happening round the country.
Just that Conor McLaren chance again, Al. I mean, how he's got to score when your team's bottom of the league. I know we said it at the start, but these are defining factors in games, and it's nothing to say that Motherwell wouldn't have went on and done what they've done, but give yourself a chance, give yourself a foothold in the game. It is a gilt-edge opportunity. It's a good save, but he has to score.
Derek Ferguson at East End Park, is it half time with you yet? Derek? He's away for his pad.
I suspect it is.
Oh well, so they were losing by a goal to 0 last time we managed to connect to Derek. Airdrie leading by a Ewan Henderson goal there at East End Park, with Dunfermline having just moved up into 4th spot last weekend. But Ayr United, if things stay the same, will leapfrog them once more, but plenty of football still to be played in both games. As
what is going on at the back with Aberdeen? Jeez, man.
I know, it's Liam Morrison this time. He switched over to the left hand side, looks particularly uncomfortable. Nicky Devlin looks uncomfortable. Sivert Nielsen's come in and missed that header that Bruce Anderson was offside, as you described, but his timing in the air poor. Meathoff is looking a bag of nerves, not sure whether to come out. And the worst thing when you're defending, the goalkeeper decides that he's going to come out and then goes back onto his goal line. That's the worst thing, the uncertainty of it all. So yeah, it's been a really difficult first half for Aberdeen, no doubt about that. 2-0, it could have been more. Defensively all over the place, lacking creativity, only created the one opportunity for Nisbet, who had a swipe at it and missed it. So it's not a good story to tell, and I'm sure Peter Leven's got a lot of work to do in the second half.
And this type of performance, well, he's just going to accelerate the manager chat again, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. Look, they need to get a manager in. The 6-2, maybe for a week, papered over the cracks.
It's a distant memory now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a distant memory now. The cracks are there for everybody to see. This team needs to be rebuilt, really, and it needs a new manager. And look, I'm sure they're working hard at it, but the next week or two, they can't wait much longer than that. Surely they don't need to wait much longer than that. It sounds like they've done most of the interviews, they've done all of the interviews. Just get on and do it now, make a decision.
Well, half time around the country. You're listening to Open All Mics on Sports Sound.
On your radio.
Online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Your smart speaker.
And BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Six finalists have been selected. Here Scotland's finest young players compete with passion and a touch of magic.
I've always sung as long as I can remember, still staying true to my Aberdeenshire roots by singing the ballads.
The BBC Radio Scotland Young Traditional Musician of the Year Grand Final. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Radio Scotland and Sounds.
OK, let's get you caught up on all the first half proceedings around the country, and we'll start at Armand Vale, where Alan Preston has been watching Livingston against Motherwell.
It's been a very powerful 45 minutes for Motherwell, who lead by 2-0 at half time, but Livingston should have taken the lead in 2 minutes. Stevie May flicked the ball over O'Donnell's head and found it Pittman then flicked on with his head, and McLennan with a shot, but a great save by Ward. But 5 minutes into the game, it was 1-0, just with a wonderful pass. Maswanisi with the awareness to see Prior off his line and looked at with the head over the top of him for his 12th goal for the season. It was almost 2-0, just corner, McGinn header, Stevie May then knocked it off the line, then Slattery, a lovely 1-2 with Maswanisi, really good save by Prior, and then just bending a shot which crashed off the post. Motherwell were all over Livingston at this point. It was 2-0, Maswanisi with his 13th goal. Lovely ball again, good composure and a side foot finish into the bottom corner. He then could have completed his hat trick, a shot over the bar and then a shot well saved by Prior. Livingston need to get the next goal. If Motherwell get it, this place will empty. Half-time score, Livingston 0, Motherwell 2.
Thanks, Alan. Let's head to the Smiza Stadium in Paisley, where St Mirren are up against Dundee. Stephen Cragen's watching that one.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Alice, so there's not an awful lot to report. I know you did throw to me at the start of the game and you said it's the two lowest goal-scoring teams in the top flight. I believe there's only been one 0-0 draw between these two in the last 20 years, so there's still plenty of hope in the second half. The closest we came to a goal, certainly from the away side, was after 10 minutes. Lovely cross down the left-hand side by Tony Yogan, and Shamal George came for the cross and it slipped through his fingers, and Cameron Congreve really should have tapped the ball in at the back of the net, but unfortunately put it past the post. St Mirren's best chance came from a counter-attack. It was a defensive corner. Ball broke free to Etete. Travelled 60-70 yards up the middle of the pitch on a post. Alex Gogic overlapped him on the right-hand side. He fizzed the ball across goal. And it was Richard King, the left centre-half, was making strides up. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't keep a shot on target. Probably should have done an awful lot better, but unfortunately put it past the post. Dre Wright then had a shot from about 20 yards. Again, attacking corner kick. Ball dropped in the edge of the box. He just couldn't catch it cleanly enough. Jake Young, I have to say, has looked quite bright for St Mirren. He's one of the new signings, makes his first start this afternoon. He's got a bit of pace, he's quite direct. St Mirren just look as if they lack a little bit of confidence in the final third. Dundee have controlled large parts of the game without carrying enough of a threat. So plenty of effort, Springland's equality, but unfortunately no breakthrough as yet. It's St Mirren 0, Dundee 0.
They're still playing at Rugby Park after a lengthy delay for treatment to Mats Knuster. So let's move into the Championship. It's 2-0 Kilmarnock, incidentally, at Rugby Park. Willie Miller will keep us up to date with any major incidents. But let's go to Somerset Park. Chick Young's been watching Ayr United against Raith Rovers.
Yeah, and Scott Brown suspended because of his 2 yellow cards at Firhill last week. Looks on to the stand. He's watched his team drag themselves into the playoff place as we stand at half-time in the Championship. They lead Raith Rovers by a 1-0. The goal came after 29 minutes. It was a free kick from Ben Dempsey. He took it from the left side and he curled it with the right foot into an area, inviting the strikers to go and chase it. I thought at first that Curtis Main had got a touch, and it certainly reacted as if he did, but the goal was given to Dempsey. The curl went all the way and it actually baffled the goalkeeper, and the Raith goal, Josh Ray, into the back of the net to put Ayr United 1-0 ahead. There have been chances at both ends. Raith Rovers were the better team in the opening spell, but Ayr with 3 changes in their side, including again a goalkeeping change for Scott Brown, have a grip in this game at the moment. As I said, they've got themselves back into one of the promotion playoff places thanks to Airdrie's lead against Dunfermline, which I'm sure Derek will tell you about very shortly. But that's the news buzzing around Somerset Park. Much better from Ayr United this afternoon, but still the full 45 minutes to go. Ayr United 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Thanks, Chick. Yeah, just 1 win in 5 in the league for the home side there, and no wins in 5 at home in the league, but at least halfway towards ending that run. And as Chick said, Dunfermline against Airdrie has been watched by Derek Ferguson, the half-time report.
Half-time.
Thanks, Willie. We'll come back to you shortly.
Yeah, it's Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1 at the moment. A real positive start, got to say, from the visitors, and they were rewarded with the opening goal in 14 minutes. It was Ewan Henderson whipping a free kick 20 yards out, right to the keeper's right-hand side. Keeper maybe should have done better. Question marks over the keeper there. Airdrie continued to play the better football, getting forward at every opportunity, but lacking maybe a bit of a cutting edge. The pars started to improve after the midway point. Morrison and Todd having half chances. Todd probably the better of the chances with the head, should have maybe done a little bit better. The home side, with their best moment came 7 minutes from the break. It was Hamilton just the edge of the box, curling a shot, clipping the top of the bar. They got a bit feisty, you've got to see, towards the break. Maybe not a bad thing, but Airdrie in the driving force at the minute. It's Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1.
Good man, Derek, thanks for that. Elsewhere in the Championship, Morton leading Ross County by a goal to nil at half-time. Eamon Brophy with his 5th goal of the season to give them the half-time advantage. And at Lesser Hampden, Queen's Park 2-1 up on Arbroath. They've gone behind to Scott Robinson's second Arbroath goal since joining, but they replied through, first of all, Aidan Conley and then Seb Drozd just before half-time. Means it's Queen's Park 2, Arbroath 1 as they look to move off the bottom. It is, as Willie said, half-time now at Rugby Park, so let's get the report on the opening 45 from Willie.
Yeah, it's been, the first 40-odd minutes that we played here, probably 49, I think there was 9 minutes added on for the Max Canister injury, which saw him getting taken off, on a stretcher after 35 minutes. So no report as yet, the state, but it took a lengthy period of time for him to get the injury seen to after a fall over the top of, I think it was it Greg Kilty it was. But Kilmarnock are 2-0 up and they thoroughly deserve it. It's been an impressive performance. Neil McCann and Billy Dawes will be absolutely delighted with the effort and the confidence and the style of play that they've put in this first half. Aberdeen have been restricted to a couple of opportunities. Nisbet had a miss hit, and then Keskinen right at on about the 48th minute there had maybe even longer, near the 50 minutes, had a strike that was blocked by Dees. 12 minutes and Brad Lyons gets the opening goal. It's a cross in from Kilty, the left hand side. There's no effort from the Aberdeen defence to put any pressure on Lyons. He just rises into the air and takes a little flick. It's a cute header, just guides it towards the back post, and it sneaks in the back post after 12 minutes to give Kilmarnock that deserved lead. And then it wasn't long after, 14 minutes it was, when John Jules set up Bruce Anderson, who a lovely little bit of play down the left hand side. Jules seeing Anderson totally free, gets his head over it and drives it into the back of the net. So for Kilmarnock, fantastic performance from them, very dominant midfield, looking really solid at the back, and a big threat up front with Bruce Anderson and John Jules leading the line. As for Aberdeen, it's just one of the worst performances, or worst first half performances that I can remember of them. All over the place. It starts with the goalkeeper Meetoff, the central defenders not much better, 2 fullbacks, particularly the experienced Nicky Devlin. Midfield nowhere to be seen, and hardly any opportunities from Nisbet up front. So as far as the half-time report's concerned, it's been a very good first half for Killie and just a dreadful one for Aberdeen. 2-0, here it is for the home side.
OK, Willie, thanks for the update there. The teams are back out at Amon Vale as Livingston just about to kick off. So second half coverage of all the games will be coming up here on Open All Mics.
This is Open All Mics.
Goal! Brilliant! On BBC Radio Scotland.
I'll just run you through the half-time scores in League 1s and 2. It's Alloa 1, Cove Rangers 0 in League 1, East Fife 1, Montrose 2, Kelty and Accies goalless. 1 apiece between Queen of the South and Inverness Cally Thistle, and Stennismuir 0, Peterhead 1. Into League 2, it's Annan 1, Clyde 0, Dumbarton 1 apiece with Edinburgh City, East Kilbride leading Forfar by 2-0, Elgin 2-1 up on the league leaders Spartans, and Stirling a goal up on Stranraer. So that's you caught up with all the goals. Are back underway at Amon Vale, still waiting on the teams to come back out in Paisley, and it will be a while yet before Kilmarnock and Aberdeen re-emerge. But certainly first half, Alan Preston, from what you've been saying, it's been Motherwell who have been running the show.
Yeah, they've been excellent, really good, but Livingston must rue that chance in 2 minutes for McLennan. A really good opportunity for him. Give the keeper all the credit, good save. But since then, Alistair, it's been all Motherwell. They've been so dominant. Maswanisi's got 2, could have scored 5 if truth be told. Justice hit the post as well. Slattery, a really good shot, well saved by Prior. It's been total domination from Motherwell. Can only see them adding, but Livingston have to believe that they can get the next goal and get right back in the game.
Alan, would you change your view that you had at the start of the game, that Livingston, we're going to finish in the bottom 2 for sure if Kilmarnock were to win today and Livingston were to lose in the fashion that they are losing?
it's going to be tough, Rory, to be honest. It's when you see that's the last league win was the 9th of August, a long time ago. How do you pick this up? I thought today might have been a chance if Aberdeen had turned up, but clearly they've not. Down at Kilmarnock, they might have got off the bottom of the table, but that's not going to be the case. They're just going to be adding goals to their target, I would imagine. Livingston here. This is, even again, it started Motherwell just nice and easy in possession, under no pressure at all. They keep finding the extra man, whether it be Slattery, whether it be Just. It's Just at the moment. He's going through, he's looking for Maswanisi again. They've just been a different level, and Livingston are just all over the place, I'm afraid.
Spartans have equalised early in the second half. Bradley White on the score sheet at Elgin. It's 2 apiece in that one in League 2, so the league leaders back on level terms early in the second period there, and still no sign of the teams at St Mirren, so just Livy against Motherwell on the goal for the moment.
They've got a corner, Alistair, here, so it's a chance for Livingston to try and load the box. Finlayson's up, Muirhead's a big lad, McGowan's gone up as well. Motherwell mark zonally across the 6-yard box. Be an in-swinging corner here, but they need to do something. They need to just upset Motherwell, but how do you do that? There's a lot of teams this season tried and failed, and it's headed out, it's cleared, so it's just...
Yeah, I think one of the things for me at the start of the season when we saw Motherwell beginning to implement the style that Jens Bertolaski wanted them to, they were playing out from the back. You'll remember, I think it was the opening game of the season against Rangers, and they lost a poor goal. I think Paul McGinn tried to play a pass that wasn't really on, and they conceded ultimately from that. But they've got a phenomenal defensive record now, and so not only are they playing this really pleasant on the eye, expansive attacking football, they're also keeping the back door closed, Stephen Craig, and it's quite remarkable.
Well, they've got the best defensive record in the league, haven't they? 17 goals.
Level with Rangers at the moment, yeah.
Rangers, and I know Rory said he thinks that 7 home games without conceding a goal. It's actually 9. Which is phenomenal. Yeah, when you talk about how high the full-backs are and how many times they play man for man at the back and how many attacking players they have in the team, when you talk about Ibrahim Saeed and you talk about Elijah Just, their strengths aren't running back and chasing back and breaking play up. They're all about going forward and exposing the opposition defence and being creative. So the work rate out of possession probably gets overlooked a little bit because everyone's so impressed by how they're playing with the ball. So everything just seems to have worked. And I spoke to him a while ago, Jens Bertolaski, and I remember saying something like, did you think it would work, everything you're doing? He said, I thought a few things would, but everything has. Everything they're doing, everything we're talking about seems to have come together. He said, so I'm as surprised as the next person, albeit we kind of hoped that 4 or 5 things would work, but the number of things we've tried to implement and the players are taking it on so well. So that basically tells you they've got intelligent footballers who understand the game as much as the manager does. So, long may it continue. This could be one defeat in their last 15 games in all competitions, and it's a joy. These were the 2 big ones. People thought if Motherwell were going to do something special this year, they had Kilmarnock at home and Livingston away. And you could leave with 6 points out of those to think, right, we're in a good place, because Motherwell traditionally have slipped up against the lower teams throughout the years and throughout the decades probably, but they look so assured and so composed in everything they do that they look hard to stop.
And potentially 2 points behind Celtic going into February. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. Ennis Lawson's got his second of the afternoon for Edinburgh City as their good away form continues. That's him on to 8 in the league for the season. So 10th place coming into this one, but they're doing their best to try and drag themselves away from bottom spot, particularly with their away form. But 2-1 they lead Dumbarton.
Al, I know we touched very briefly on the game tonight. We discussed Hearts, Dundee United. It'll be interesting to see what they can bring tonight, because last season, I think, when it came to Dundee United, they very rarely were they poor. They weren't always great, but they were rarely poor, and they always seemed to be in games and get results. They've been so up and down this season, so it'll be interesting to see if they manage to turn up tonight. I think they've got good players that can hurt Hearts, but in the same breath, there's every possibility the other version of Dundee United turn up and Hearts can blow them away. So it'll be interesting to see how that game goes tonight. But I just thought I would mention Dundee United and the level of inconsistency that's been there. So Derek McInnes will be hoping it's that version of Dundee United that are there tonight.
Craigs, what's the thoughts on Motherwell getting Welsh back?
Well, it's funny, we spoke about it last week, didn't we, and said that there will have to be a cut-off point. I would imagine they still have a lot of hope that they're going to get him. Otherwise, Jens Bertholascu would have moved in the transfer market to bring another centre-half in. So whether they're waiting for Celtic to get another one in so they can release him out, but there's no point in him staying at Celtic if he's not going to play. I think it's really unfair on the player, and I understand Celtic have to look after themselves, but he wasn't even in the matchday squad last weekend, so he's not going to be involved at any stage. They don't fancy him, fine, accept what's there, get him playing at Motherwell. He might enhance his reputation, he might catch someone else's eye, and suddenly you get a big transfer fee for him in the summer. But there's no doubt he needs to be back playing because he was excellent for Motherwell.
Could he play tomorrow though with Trusty being suspended? Could that be the reason why they're keeping him? And I think if Celtic get in a centre half, which they're possibly looking at, then that might be a different
Well, he brought
scenario.
on Dane Murray last week, didn't he? He brought on Dane Murray. So he clearly fancies him ahead of Stephen Welsh. So
yeah, but
Martin
there's no
Reeves could make
Trusty
decisions
tomorrow, so you think with Dane Murray would play, then it would be Welsh on the bench.
Yeah, well, you would think so, but you know how
But then
football
we try and
works.
do a deal with Maswanisi, part of the deal.
Yeah, no chance. I think Motherwell would say, chase yourself. We can go get another centre-half. He's our best player. He's our most threatening player. Why would you sell your best player at this stage now? If Celtic were going to come, they should have came 2 weeks ago. Whether Celtic are maybe going to allow it to get to the last day, Alan, and try and put a little bit of pressure on Motherwell. Motherwell will say, no, where you go, we don't need your money. Come back in the summer.
6 million and Welsh for Maswanisi. Thank you very much.
Well, you see, my ears have just pricked up there, Tom.
That's not an official offer, Craigs. That's not an official offer.
I'll speak to Jens after the game and see if he'll accept that. But I would imagine if someone came in like that, I think they'd be bang on the money. That's something that would certainly interest them, I would imagine. But anything around 2-3 million, not a chance.
Jack McKeever's got another goal this afternoon for Elgin City. That's his second of the afternoon. Elgin City 3, Spartans 2 in League 2 and in League 1. Peterhead have gone 2-0 up away to Stenhousemuir. Andrew McCarthy with that goal to give them a 2-goal cushion. Now we are certainly back underway in your game. Stephen, what about at East End Park? Derek Ferguson, anything happening at the early stages of the second period?
No, it's a better start to the second half from the home side. They were pretty poor in that opening 10-15 minutes, so I think Neil Lennon has had a little chat, shall we say, to them, but they've started brightly, getting themselves forward, trying to create a few chances. But I think this Airdrie side have enjoyed playing on this surface. I know a lot of the parts have took a bit of a battering, but this one at East End Park's it's pretty decent, I've got to say, and I think Airdrie so far have enjoyed it. As I say, it's up to Dunfermline. You know, they've got those games in hand that we spoke about before the game. You know, but they need to somehow try and find a win if they're going to get themselves up there and try and challenge a Partick Thistle or a St Johnstone.
Okay, Inverness Cally Thistle have gone 2-1 up. Jordan Alonge, who scored a good amount of goals for them since coming to the club, he has put them 2-1 up away to Queen of the South, the league leaders, up against third place Queen of the South. That'll be 4 wins in the bounce if they can keep that record up, and it looks like they are a good bet to return to the championship at the close of the season. Cally Thistle and Scott Kelleher doing a good job in charge of them. Now let's where have we not been for a while? Anything happening early in the second half for you, Stephen?
No, a couple of changes. St Mirren have brought on Jaden Richardson. I think Mikael Mandron. Ateti done okay up front, but he just couldn't get the better of Luke Graham, who I have to say has been outstanding. I know Ian McCall has spoken about him a few times. He just looks, I think he's still in his early 20s, but he now looks like an assured centre half who's taking control and quite happy to go and be the dominant one between him and Ryan Astley. So Mikael Mandron will just give him a little bit of a different problem. St Mirren have started the second half a little bit better. They've played more of the game in Dundee's half. Dundee will be quite happy probably to sit off it and just receive a little bit of pressure, and then once the game settles down they'll start to try and play. So I said it earlier, the first goal in this game will be absolutely vital. If St Mirren can get it, place comes to life, the players grow in confidence. If Dundee get it, then it could be a long way back for St Mirren, because clearly they struggle for goals.
They haven't had a shot on target in that first half, Craig, have they?
No, they haven't. I mean, I think Dundee have had a few, Tom, but they've all been from distance, all down the throat of Shamal George. So sometimes stats can be misleading with regards, as if you think Dundee are peppering the St Mirren goal. They're not. They've had a couple of shots from 25-30 yards, but nothing really threatening either.
Willie, an Aberdeen change at half time?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Alishanya's come on, but I'm just trying to make out who's actually going off. They haven't made the change as yet.
A wee pie, Willie?
Is it Bilalovic, I think? Yeah, Bilalovic is making way for Alisanya. But was that Alan?
Are you having lasagna?
Oh, whatever.
Tell you,
It's a pie I had.
I wonder what lines with senior linesmen are given the stand side games beside the managers. They must wish they're on the other side. This Dougie Imrie has been in the ear of Alistair Taylor all afternoon, and as Cammy tell from the far side, must be thinking relief. I don't have to be beside the managers. I'm assuming it's grief. Maybe I'm being presumptuous, but by the reaction of the linesman, Dougie's just been giving them earache all afternoon. It hasn't stopped. Still 1-0 to Ayr United, and they're kind of in control of this at the moment. But the Wraith Rovers manager, as I say, is right having a go, but getting
He's got to be off.
Yes, Derek.
Oh, it's Cole McKinnon. He's driving through it. I said, yeah, it's Chris Hamilton. I was talking about rugby tackles in the first half. Well, there was another one. It's actually Mockery. I thought it was Cole McKinnon. Mockery driving right through the middle of the defence, and Chris Hamilton, he just grabbed him round the waist. I don't know why he's over at the referee complaining. He just hauled him back. Goal scoring opportunity. It's a definite red card. So 1-0 down are Dunfermline, and they're down to 10 men.
Yeah, well, that'll be tough to get it back for Neil Lennon's side. A man down and a goal down at home to Airdrie. 1-0 the visitors lead in that one. And Alan Preston, anything happening early stages of your second half?
It's just Motherwell dominance again with possession, nice and comfortable on the ball. Livingston, I've stepped on a little bit, they've pushed on trying to win the ball back, but Muirhead's up on his own, they're just dropping back, and it's all Motherwell. They will add to this, I'm sure of it.
Goal!
Yes, Chick.
It's a second goal for United. It's Anton Dowd. Lovely break. Curtis Main took it down, was going to have a dig at the edge of the box, saw the run down the left hand side by his fellow striker, played it in the path of Anton Dowd, one touch, low beyond the goalkeeper. Ayr United 2, Wraith Rovers 0.
Just a third goal in the championship this season for Anton Dowds, who was a goal machine since just prior to getting that long-term injury, but back fit now, and well, Ayr United will be welcoming of his talents in front of goal if we can continue to get goals like that. 2-0 lead against Wraith Rovers.
As it stands at the moment, when the top flight, Livingston find themselves now 6 points behind Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock close in on St Mirren by just the 3-point deficit, having played a game more. So it's a great day for Kilmarnock so far. I think they'll be quite happy with the result at the Smythe Stadium. If that finishes 0-0, Kilmarnock pick up a win, taking themselves away from Dundee and getting within touching distance of the other two. It'll be been a great day for Kilmarnock.
Is it too early to say if it finishes the way it's finished and Kilmarnock are 6 points ahead of Livy? Is it too early to say Livy are doomed?
Well, I know you'd nipped out to the toilet. I'd posed that question to Alan Preston because I know his opinion before the game was that Livingston could still get back in it. My opinion, I think that's them.
I agree with you.
But I don't.
Yeah. When you haven't won since August and now you're 6 points behind the team in 11th, what hope have you got?
I know, I do.
Tom, that's always the thing. You always, when you're down there, I suppose, you always want to try and be within one game.
Yeah.
Now this is 2 games.
Yeah, that's right.
They've won 1 since August the 9th, so you need to win 2 more to catch up Kilmarnock.
Falkirk play very similar. Maybe not quite exactly the same. Or, probably a little bit more direct than Motherwell, but I don't see Falkirk going there and not having a lot of the ball on Tuesday night and potentially winning the game as well. And at that point, you're visiting Celtic Park after that, and it becomes a real slippery slope. So if they don't get anything today, they're going to need to get something on Tuesday.
The problem you've got is,
Wednesday.
Tom, the problem they're going to have is because of their new owner, if they do go down, they have got some size of squad now.
They have.
It's massive.
They have.
Bringing in over 20 players. I know he's got 1 or 2 out, and they'll try and do 1 or 2 more, but it's some size of squad and some wage bill he's going to have, the highest probably in their history.
If this is, it's incredibly early days for Kilmarnock, but under Neil McCann and Billy Dodds, they've signed 3 players this week. If this is a bit of a bounce for them, St Mirren are going to be looking over their shoulder now going, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I don't like the look of this one little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that I felt Kilmarnock and Livingston would finish in the bottom 2, but with Kilmarnock there was that a little bit of unknown with the 3 signings on the bench. But you have to say that they've not stepped foot in the park yet, and Kilmarnock have been excellent. Although just towards the end of half time, Aberdeen had some golden chances to get back in it. So if he is to win today, Neil McCann, and it's with the bulk of the game being with his current squad that he's worked with for the last few weeks, it's positive signs for Kilmarnock, so we could be proven wrong on that one, Tom.
In League 2, Darren Lang's 8th goal of the season has drawn Stranraer level away to Stirling Albion, 1 apiece in that one now. No further goals to bring you up to date on.
Terrible substitution here, Al, for Raith Rovers. Doug Emery's obviously feeling the pressure. Jai Rao, Josh Mull and Andy Winter all off. Ross Matthews, Lewis Vaughan and Poncio all coming on, so he's obviously pushed the panic button from Doug Emery. 2-0 down against Ayr United.
Yeah, it's not looking great for their playoff chances, you'd have to say. 6th place coming into this one, a point behind today's opponents, Ayr United, but clearly that will become 4, albeit they'll still be in touch with local rivals Dunfermline, but they do have 2 games in hand on Raith, so it's always going to be tight, and you can't call it this early certainly, but looks like it might be between Ayr United and Dunfermline.
Graham Shinnie. You'll see it's quite a high challenge.
Is that straight red, Willie, rather than a second yellow?
You just pulled out a red, yes. Didn't look like a yellow, a double yellow. It was just a red that came
that's
out.
all I saw.
Yeah. It was quite a high challenge. Who was it on? Was it Kilty it was on?
Just get another look here.
Yeah, he's late, he catches him. I'm not saying it was intentional, but intent's not always relevant, and I don't think it was there. But Willie, your point very much stands to reason on that occasion. I felt he was very unfortunate in the first half with the second one that he potentially had been booked for. But that one there, the point you made earlier on about being on a booking, being the captain, everything you said earlier, Willie, stands to reason on that occasion.
Yeah. No, I think with experience as well, you've got to understand you're away from home too, and you know that the crowd are going to shout for everything, but I thought, not too sure if it was a straight red. Was it a straight red?
Yeah, it looks like it was.
No, but do you think it deserved?
I don't think it deserved a straight red. I think it's a yellow. Second yellow.
I thought it was a yellow. That was my thought.
Either way,
second yellow, but the red was just brought out right away. Anyway,
big chance here, Al, for Dunfermline. Down to 10 men, 1-0 down. It was good play from Fraser. Down this left-hand side, just whipping the ball across 6-yard box, and there was Rudden just coming in, just didn't quite get the connection that he wanted, and then it was a pretty comfortable save, but it looks as if they're doing better with 10 men than they did with 11 men at the moment, Dunfermline. But there's a little half chance here for Airdrie there, a little half chance for Telford. Didn't catch it again quite as he wanted, but but certainly Airdrie, they're in control of this game, but a good moment there for Dunfermline.
I wonder if at Rugby Park,
so they're testing the red card.
Yeah,
but they could downgrade it to a yellow technically, and he's still off.
He's still off. Yeah.
I guess what would change would be the length of suspension, wouldn't it?
The ban.
Yeah, he's going to go to his screen here, a referee, and have a look at that. So presumably VAR there are suggesting that it's probably not worth a straight red.
It was mistimed, it was reckless, which is a yellow card.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Could VAR look at it, or could the referee have a second look and say it's actually not even a yellow?
He could. He could.
I mean, on the pitch.
I mean, he does catch him high.
Catch him extremely high with the studs.
But
I don't think that's a clear and obvious error. Is it?
I don't think it's a clear and obvious error. You could mount an argument to say that it's a straight red. I think it's harsh, but I can understand why he's given it as a red card. But
no, the referee's sticking with the decision.
Yeah, he's sticking by his decision.
I mean, if he'd made Graham Shinnie come back down the tunnel to give him a yellow card to send him off,
I'm sure Shinnie would have been perfectly okay with that.
Well, but, he stood by it, so there you go.
East Fife 2, Montrose 2. Andrew Steve's own goal in that one's drawn Dick Campbell's side level. Yeah, was that you, Alan?
No, that was me.
Sorry, Craig.
I was just going to say, Al, it's quite worrying that Rory and Tom and yourself and Willie all said after Shinnie got his first yellow, do you know what, he has to be careful. Then he makes that foul when you think maybe they should think of taking him off. And the fact that he stayed on the pitch and he's got himself a second yellow or a straight red, he's now off the pitch. So is that a bit naive, Willie, maybe? From the manager, should he made that call earlier?
It's possible, yeah. I think it depends how much trust you've got in the player, though. Craigs, would it not be? And I don't know if I would have had the trust in Graham Shinnie. I think he's liable
that's
to.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
that's the point.
I think
he's
the
liable. Captain, though, Willie.
Yeah.
Show a bit of leadership,
But by what? Keeping himself calm and I mean, listen,
not selling his team down the river.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. But Graham tends to go into challenges that kind of even if they're not bad, they look bad. He kind of goes in with his body at times as well, and I think Craig's made a good point there. Should you have made the change?
I also think it's fair to say if Graham Shinnie can't tackle, if Graham Shinney can't tackle, you might as well take him off. Not in a bad way. That's his main strength, to go and break up the play and be the destroyer in the middle of the pitch.
Could somebody
He can't do that.
Sorry, describe that again.
The ball breaks.
It's not, but it's not. It doesn't look bad, but it is bad.
No, the ball breaks, Derek, and I think he makes a genuine attempt for the ball. It's just mistimed, and his legs high, and he catches the player with his studs, to be fair, on the hip. Now, my issue, and I don't want to bring VAR into it because we've not discussed it, that, you know, they're looking at that. They should get involved, as you say, Alan, clear and obvious errors. There's no need to bring the official. If he's described what he's seen, there is grounds to have that be a red card. I think it's a little bit harsh. I can understand why it's given. It's one of those that I think a yellow or a red, I don't know if many people are arguing
it's just
over
when
either.
You said, Rory, and it isn't bad, but he makes it look bad.
I think what I would say is, Derek, having played the game yourself, you can understand how it's happened, but it looks bad.
He's got. I think it's Kilty, and he's got Kilty in the thigh.
So very high up in the thigh.
I don't think there's any doubt that minimum yellow, and the referee's made the red, and perhaps you just have stuck with
Chance for Livingston. Really good play from him, actually, down the left hand side. McLennan with a good ball across, and it's that midfield run for Pittman again. Just can't get on the end of it. Making a little fist of it, Livingston, in the second half. Still 2-0 though to Motherwell.
Stephen Craigan and St Mirren chance just a moment ago.
Yeah, I know, I was going to get in. That probably sums up St Mirren in front of the goal at this moment in time. Corner kick in from the right hand side. I'm not too sure who it is at the back post that heads the ball back down, round about 6-yard box. There's about 5 or 6 St Mirren players. There's a couple of Dundee players. The ball just won't break for any of them. They're both, I think they're all kicking and slashing, very similar to the St Johnstone against Partick Thistle one last night, where the ball stayed still and everybody swinging legs. No one actually makes contact with the ball, and then goes out and comes back in again, and still they can't get contact on it. So they are getting a little bit closer, but they'll be disappointed. That was a big chance for the Saints.
That was the very definition of a stramash last night, wasn't it?
Straight red, sorry. Yeah, it was a straight red for Jake Young. I'm not too sure who it's on. Is it Ethan Hamilton? It's not. Someone's down on the ground. Could possibly be Dre Wright. Whoever it is on the ground. Nick Walsh did not hesitate. Whether Jake Young has went over the top of the ball, but the Dundee player has stayed down, and Nick Walsh, automatic red card out. Didn't even think it, but it didn't give himself a moment to think. He was adamant it was a red card. So St Mirren today gets that little bit worse. They're down to 10 players.
Yeah, we're just going to see it again here.
Still can't really see from that angle what's exactly's happened, Drags. It's not definitive.
Didn't look too high, did it?
No, we'd need to see it again, I think.
Morton have gone 2-0 up on
really
Ross County, incidentally. Michael O'Halloran has put them up. It's been given here as violent conduct, but
I don't know unless we've missed something, but I certainly can't see anything from the angles we've seen that would constitute a red card.
Yeah, that's strange. You can understand if it was serious foul play, but
he's not leaving the pitch, is he? He's not having this.
He's obviously confident. Maybe, I don't know.
Let me just run you through a few scores. Killie 2, Aberdeen 0, Livingston 0, Motherwell 2, and St Mirren 0, Dundee 0. Just waiting to see if that red card stands.
It's been announced in the stadium as serious foul, foul play.
Yeah, okay. If anything, it looks like maybe he just went over the ball slightly, but
there's nothing that catches your eye.
No, not massively, not massively. So VAR might well get involved in this one. Stephen Robinson's certainly getting involved, offering his opinion to the officials in the stand side.
Well, the decision is stood. Jake Young is now off the pitch and walking up the tunnel. So VAR's obviously had a quick look and they've decided Nick Walsh's decision.
Every angle they've shown, there's been a Dundee player in the way and you can't actually see what's happened, so we're still waiting on an angle where we can see it.
Yeah, but I would imagine VAR's getting the same camera angles as yourself, Rory. There's only 6 cameras at the game, just another camera.
That's the third goal for Killie.
Oh, good finish.
What a goal it is as well. John Jules, magnificent strike with the right foot. Bruce Anderson, brilliant down the right hand side, getting in behind the Aberdeen defence, cuts it back, and there's his striking partner to drill it with the right foot. First time. What a contact he's made there. Meetoff, no chance. That's 3-0. And the fans are enjoying it here.
Fourth goal in the Premiership for John Jules, and the smiles on Killie faces because they've lost 6 of their last 7 at home, but they are well on course for a victory to end a 17-game run prior to today without a win. But
bad day for Aberdeen.
It's a great finish, but any chance of a tackle there? You know, I mean, they're just standing off him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he takes far too long. I think it's Nicky Devlin to actually engage the ball, and then the ball comes into the box, and the two centre backs are watching whilst John Jules is on the move. And you know, you've got to give it to John Jules. Once he does make contact, he goes in off the post, and it's a really tidy finish.
Quite a game between Elgin City and Spartans. Spartans have equalised again. It's 3 apiece in that one up in Elgin. Kilmarnock just putting their third past Aberdeen, but no reply from the Dons, who are down to 10 men, as are St Mirren. We're going to be joining BBC One Scotland viewers on BBC One Scotland relatively shortly, so that'll happen in the next couple of minutes, and then we'll get round the grounds for full updates from all the guys. Just briefly in the Championship as things stand: Ayr 2, Raith 0, Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1, Morton 2, Ross County 0, and Queen's Park 2, Arbroath 1. So plenty of goals, plenty incident around the country, plenty to keep us entertained. And of course we've got Dundee United against Hearts coming up, an 8 o'clock kickoff. There'll be live coverage of that right here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. So looks like Kilmarnock are already good for the 3 points.
Oh, lucky boy. The goalkeeper of Motherwell is very lucky. He tries to take on
chance, isn't it?
Muirhead. Gets away with it.
A couple of times Livingston haven't had the quality to punish them, but a couple of times early in the second half they've taken a few risks, Motherwell, as they like to do, but they don't always result in chances. And Livingston, if they'd had a little bit more about them, could have had an opportunity there. Just on the Aberdeen sending off, seeing it again and again, it probably does look worse and worse the more you see it. But it's not often you see a referee go to the screen and stick by his decision, so it's interesting to know what VAR seen that felt he was wrong.
Yes, Willie.
It's just when you're playing with confidence. John Jules here, cut back from the right hand side. It's an outrageous overhead kick he's tried. Yeah, it's worth trying. You never know, it could end up in the back of the net. The way Kilmarnock are playing just now, their confidence is high, and that's a player that was willing to take that on, and you only take that on if you've got a bit of confidence.
They've done Neil McCann has done a fair old motivational job in a week, hasn't he?
He sure has, yeah, and he looks absolutely delighted as he makes a substitution there at Rugby Park. We are imminently going to join our television colleagues, so just bear with us while that happens. We'll bring you right up to date with all the goings on around the grounds on Sportsound here this afternoon. And welcome to viewers on BBC One Scotland. You're joining Open All Mics on Sportsound. We've had another lively day, it has to be said, around the country, and we'll bring you right up to date with all that's been going on. We'll start at Rugby Park with Willie Miller. It's Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Willie.
Yeah, Aberdeen getting a bit of a roasting here at Rugby Park. It's been a dreadful performance from them. On the other hand, it's been quite a performance, a very confident performance from the home side Kilmarnock, who at this moment in time are leading 3-0, and there could be another couple of goals ahead. Brad Lyons in the first half, John Jules as well, setting up Bruce Anderson, 2-0 up at half time. Unfortunately for Aberdeen, Canuster got himself taken off, carried off actually after a 9-minute stop, so we all hope that he's okay. And it starts in the second half. Graham Shinney gets himself sent off, we think, for a straight red card, although he'd been booked in the first half. And just right after that, in 59 minutes, it's John Jules with quite a magnificent strike. Bruce Anderson down the right hand side, cuts it back for his striking partner, who first time rattles it into the back of the net. So Aberdeen really disappointing this afternoon. Kilmarnock playing probably as good as they have this season, 3-0 to the home side.
Thanks, Willie. Just to let you know that down in England in the Premier League, the leaders there have gone 3-0 up. Arsenal on Leeds United. Victor Gyökeres has got the third Arsenal goal, and there's a goal going in. Clyde have equalised away to Annan. That's in League 2, 1 apiece. That one stands. And Brighton have gone a goal up on Everton. Well, let's get back to the Scottish Premiership, and at Ammon Vale, bottom side Livingston up against Motherwell, which is watched for us by Alan Preston.
Well, it's 2-0 to the wayside, and it's been comfortable for Motherwell, although Livingston had the best chance. Alistair in the second minute, May to Pittman, his flick on to McLennan was brilliantly saved by Ward, but from then on it was all Motherwell and all Maswanisi as well. We put them ahead, great ball by Just. Maswanisi, magic awareness, seen the keeper come off his line and a looping header from about 8 yards over the top of him for his 12th league goal of the season. Just then had a corner, was McGinn headed, but Stevie May knocked off the line. Slattery well 1-2 with Maswanisi, a really good save by Prior. Then Just bent a shot that crashed off the post, but it was 2-0, and that man Maswanisi again, cool as you like, opening his body up, passing it into the back of the net, really good. He could have had 4 or 5 goals. He had a shot over, he had a really good shot at the angle, which was Prior well saved, and he's just been replaced to a standing ovation, and Motherwell fans will be hoping this isn't the last time you see him in a Motherwell jersey. He's been quite terrific, as has all his teammates. Comfortable at the moment for Motherwell, who lead here at Livingston by 2-0.
Thanks, Alan. The two lowest scoring teams in the division are St Mirren and Dundee. They are meeting today at the Smiza Stadium. Stephen Craigan, any sign of any goals this afternoon?
Unfortunately not, Al. I've got to say, first half, Dundee's best chance came to Cameron Congreve when he should probably have tapped the ball into the net after a Shamal George misjudged a cross from the left-hand side. Stephen Presley was furious that he hadn't put it in the back of the net. I think St Mirren's best chance was a counter-attack down the right-hand side. Ball switched from right to left, and there was Richard King. He should probably have scored from 7 or 8 yards out, but he didn't manage to do that. And then, of course, the big talking point in the second half, Jake Young, the new recruit for St Mirren, gets sent off after a late tackle on Brad Holliday. Nick Walsh didn't hesitate in giving a red card. Dundee have the extra man. As it stands, he haven't made it count. It's still 0-0 here at St Mirren Park.
It's a goal. We've got a goal down here at Somerset Park. Lewis Vaughan for Raith Rovers, bringing them back into the game. Remember, Ayr United were leading by 2-0. Great goal early on from Ben Dempsey, a free kick. It looked as if there'd been a touch in it inside the box, but he claimed the free kick, got it, put Ayr United 1-0 ahead. Then Anton Dowds with a second of the second half to put Ayr United ahead. They looked comfortable, but just a moment ago, Lewis Vaughan with a header inside the box. Raith Rovers desperate at this game started against an injury, stopping up the retake of the centre from the centre spot, but Raith Rovers have got themselves back into the game. It is Ayr United 2, Raith Rovers 1.
Just a second league goal of the season for Lewis Vaughan, who once again has missed a lot of it through injury, but such an important player for Dougie Emery's side, and he certainly dragged them back into contention. The other game in the Championship that we are covering this afternoon is the one at East End Park. 4th place Dunfermline at the beginning of play. They're up against Airdrie, and watching that one for us is Derek Ferguson.
Yeah, and it's Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1 at the moment. You can't take your eyes off this game because the Pars are down to 10 men at this time, and it was Chris Hamilton, Holland down, Chris Mockery to deny him a goal scoring opportunity. So the Pars go down to 10 men. Airdrie, you think, would be in control. Nothing of it, because it's Dunfermline having the best spell of the game, but in that first half it was from the off. Airdrie did take control of the game, got the goal in 14 minutes. Ewan Henderson, a free kick. Could the keeper have done better? Probably, but for most part it was all about Airdrie controlling that game. So yeah, we've still got a good portion of the game to go, but the moment in the driving seat is Airdrie with that 1-goal lead against the 10-man Pars.
Thanks, Derek. Elsewhere in the Championship, Morton 2-0 up in Ross County. And at the bottom, Queen's Park are leading Arbroath by 2-1. A bit of a shock scoreline, you could say there. Down in League One, Taylor Sutherland has just notched his hat-trick for Montrose. That gives them a 3-2 lead away to East Fife. Taylor Sutherland, I think off the top of my head, is on loan from Dunfermline, and certainly doing the damage against East Fife this afternoon. So in the studio here with me, Rory Loy and Tom English. Rory, what have you made of proceedings so far this afternoon?
Well, you asked me at the top of the show who I thought game of the day was. I said down at Rugby Park, but Aberdeen have let themselves down massively. Lost 3 goals. Kilmarnock have been excellent, take nothing away from them. Really, really poor Aberdeen, kind of culminating in Graham Shinney being sent off after being booked earlier on. I know it was a straight red, but he's let his side down there, the captain. And Kilmarnock well worthy of their 3 goals, and Motherwell have been sensational as always, as they are comfortable at Livingston.
Yeah, it's been very impressive, Tom, what we've seen of Motherwell. As for St Mirren and Dundee, little to inspire by the sounds of that one.
Well, I have very few notes written down for that game, one of which is the straight red for Jake Young. Not a lot else. We weren't expecting goals in that one.
We were not.
We haven't got any goals in that one. We may not get any goals in that one. There's enough excitement elsewhere, but I'd like to see some bit of action in St Mirren v Dundee. Killie have been excellent. Neil McCann has done some job in the space of a week to turn them around so quickly. 3-0. Aberdeen have been appalling. Killie full value, and Motherwell are just toying with Livy. The only surprise about that is that it's only 2. Maswanisi, brilliant. He's off to a standing ovation, and I'll be amazed. Well, I wouldn't be amazed if he was still a Motherwell player. I wouldn't be at all, because it's going to take a big bid to get him out of there. But if I was a certain club, I'd be coming in with a big bid for this player, because I think he's exceptional.
I tell you what, Alistair, we've nearly had 2 chances for Raith Rovers to equalise. It's at United and thin ice here. They're hanging on, 2-1 ahead. Lewis Vaughan's come on. He said he's got a goal. He's had 2 further chances. He actually got a hat-trick since he came on into this game. That was another flashing cross, just went beyond the far post. Another header which went into the goalkeeper's arms. They are living dangerously at United. In fact, they're just making a couple of changes to try and steady things up. It's still 2-1 to the home club.
A couple of goals have gone in at East Kilbride, the K Park there. It's now East Kilbride 3, 4 for 1. Bobby McCluckie, I think on loan from Hearts, has added to East Kilbride's tally, but then quickly Martin Rennie with an 8th goal of the season in the league has reduced the deficit once more to 2. And Queen of the South have just equalised at home to Inverness Cally Thistle. It's Hewitt that's got that one with 11 to play there. That's third against first in League One, so an important goal there for Queen of the South, who get themselves back on level terms. Alan Preston, we're talking about Motherwell just kind of cruising to victory at Livingston. Has there been anything to suggest Livy could get anything out of the game?
Not really. Honestly, it would probably be more of a mistake from the Motherwell keeper, Ward, if anything. He took a risk a few minutes ago and almost allowed Muirhead in, but that's really been about it. You're right, they're just toying with them. They really are. It's like a cat playing with a mouse. They're just toying with them, keeping possession. Not as potent in the second half as they were in the first half. As Tom says, Maswanisi's now gone off. He's been sensational. Eli just the same, absolutely brilliant. Again, left the pitch. They've just been all over the park. They've had better players, more idea about them as well. Luke, more athletic, know exactly what each and every one of them has to do, and it's been a comfortable afternoon so far for Motherwell.
14 attempts, Alan, 6 on target, and it really should be more goals than they've got, but that just shows their dominance, doesn't it?
Rory, honestly, I love watching them, and I've never said that about a Motherwell side, but they're a joy to watch. They really are. They pass, they move, they all want the ball. They don't panic in tight areas. They'll give it to players knowing that they're comfortable with their touch, with their control, with their pass, their peripheral vision.
Oh, what a strike! Oh, what a strike for Airdrie.
Yes, Derek.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm just, as you know, these strips of these Airdrie, just trying to find who it is. It's pretty difficult to see. It's Henderson. I think it's Henderson that's got it, yeah, with the yellow boots. You look at Dunfermline, you're down to 10 men. It was 3v3, but it was Henderson, just a little dip of the shoulder, and then it's a strike from distance. I thought the keeper was going to get there, but just nestles from the bottom right hand corner. So yeah, definitely Henderson there with the yellow boots.
That's quite a shock scoreline for me, because Dunfermline, you know, we had them live in the Scottish Cup, beating Hibernian, deservedly so, Rory, and they seem to be, you know, in a good run of form. It's been given as McGrattan incidentally here, Derek. Maybe you could just clarify that one for us. But anyway, regardless, it looks like they're going to be beaten by Airdrie, who had been on pretty poor form. Just shows you the Championship, anything can happen, as we always say.
Well, it does. The only 2 teams that have been able to put their head above the parapet and put...
A wee correction of that. Right, we're going at it's just come over the tannoy. I think it's substitute that's just come on, Lewis McGrattan, just now outside. I thought it might have been Henderson, but yes, they've just come across the tannoy. But the bottom line is, you were just talking about it, a surprise scoreline coming into the ground today. A lot of excitement. I don't think the fans who are starting to make their way to the exit, don't think they expected this. So it's Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 2 at the moment.
Alloa were pegged back to 1 apiece at Cove Rangers, but it's now 2-1 to Alloa again. It looks like a Mitch Megginson own goal with 5 minutes to play has put Andy Graham's side back ahead, 4th place in League One coming into that one, and Steny have fallen 2-1 behind away home to Peterhead. I beg your pardon. That's a Stennismuir goal back, isn't it? Peterhead were leading by 2-0. It's Aitken that's got that. And now, I think the video printer's gone somewhat awry. Unless Mitch Megginson has just scored.
Alloa Cove game, does it?
Unless Mitch Megginson has just scored at either end within the space of a minute, we'll clarify that for you. The video printer is giving us the scoreline of Alloa 2, Cove Rangers 2.
Did it earlier with Ross Gentles in that fixture as well?
It did. So we'll just clarify that for you. But certainly goals flying in around the country. We'll bring you the classifieds, of course, at the close of play. Stephen Craigan, let's come up to date with what's happening between St Mirren and Dundee. Any chance of a goal in that one?
Well, I have to say St Mirren went close there. It was really good play by Dan Lindulu. He broke down the left-hand side. St Mirren, of course, are down to 10 players, so they're having to play in the counter-attack. They're having to be patient. And he fizzed the ball into the box, and Mikael Mandron tried to get across the near post. He actually did, but rather than hooking the ball on or helping it on, he caught it right and flush on his toe and put it straight into the stand. But I give the St Mirren fans a little bit of encouragement. I have to say their shape has been good. They've been disciplined. Dundee have moved the ball well. They've just lacked the cutting edge. They haven't got that final pass or cross. I mentioned it in the first half, and Dundee, for all their possession, haven't really created anything of note to put Jamal George under any pressure. So with about 9 minutes left here, I just get a sense that something is coming. The St Mirren fans hope it's going to come their way, but I just get a feel as if Dundee are just edging that little bit closer, potentially getting a huge 3 points this afternoon.
Thanks, Stephen. Stennismuir have dragged themselves from 2 goals down to level at 2 apiece. I told you about that Murray Aitken goal that went in, and Dale Carrick has just got them an equaliser at home to Peterhead. It's 2 apiece, and that one's still trying to get clarity on the Alloa Cove Rangers scoreline, but
I hope that's true, because that'd be quite spectacular, wouldn't it? A goal at either end in the space of a minute. Is it 85 and 86 minutes?
That's what it was given us for Mitch Megginson, but
it's a real Rami broke now here. It's a drill. Players involved. That's about all the players. Even the goalkeeper has come up to get involved in a scrap in the middle. It's a dreadful challenge by I think it was Sean Want getting back there. He just put a challenge. Red Rovers were breaking through. Very cynical challenge for which he got just a yellow card. He knew what he was doing, and everyone is piled in. The referee is just counting it all down. The referee is Ross Hardy. He's getting in there, calling a few players across. What a real Rami that was. Just about everybody involved except the Ayr United goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's camming it all down. The referee's camming it all down now. A couple of yellow cards getting flashed. It certainly will be a free kick to the Rovers. They got themselves back into this 2-1. It's been a tremendous performance in the second half when he came on by Lewis Vaughan. Scored one, had another couple of chances, then a free kick. He's taking every free kick. There's another 2 or 3 yellow cards getting flashed about the place. I think among them there was big Sean Want. That was absolutely deserved, I have to say. Anyway, all settles down. Free kick to Raith Rovers, and they are trailing by 2-1.
Thanks again, Chick. I'm sure as I can be.
Dundee, the amount of times they've let themselves down in the final third there, Craig. I think it was Jan Danda driving at the box. It's not a difficult pass to get it out wide, or say out wide to the wider man inside the box to create an opportunity. And that final piece is just letting them down every time.
There's just as if they panic a little bit, or they try and force it. There's a nervousness about them for some reason, because their possession's good, Roy. Their build-up play is really good. They're composed. They're getting into the final third. But then you're looking for that little bit of magic. You're looking for someone to produce something a little bit different
just
from what
composure.
they have so far, and they don't have it. Yeah, well, that's what they've lacked in the final third. Yeah. So I'm just seeing that red card back. There's a couple of guys in front of me have got it on their screens. That seems an incredibly harsh red card for Jake Young from the angle I'm seeing it at. I thought he stood on his foot.
Yeah,
he maybe stood on his toe.
That's all I think we've seen it in the studio as well, Stephen, I have to say. Just to try and clarify that Alloa scoreline, I'm as sure as I can be that it's the only goal that Mitch Megginson has scored in the game is for Cove. So it's Alloa 1, Cove 2. His 7th goal of the season in the league has put second bottom Cove 2-1 up on Alloa. And Ross County have got a goal back away to Morton. It's Alex Iacovitti with just about a minute of normal time to play in that one. So it's Morton 2, Ross County 0, and a glimmer of hope for Stuart Kettlewell's side in that one. Willie Miller, we've barely heard from you of late. Is that a sign that Kilmarnock are just strolling to victory there.
Yeah, you're missing me then, are you?
Always.
They are, yeah. They're taking the foot off the gas a little bit and just keeping possession. Most of their play is, between the 18-yard line. The sub came on, Hugo. He had an opportunity, but he didn't react quick enough. He was just on the pat. He was in behind again, in behind the Aberdeen defence. But yeah, I mean, Kilmarnock are well in control. Stuart Armstrong did have an opportunity, but it was well saved at the other end by the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. So no, Aberdeen's had a bit of the ball, but down to 10 men, and they haven't really had the opportunity in any way to dominate the game since our captain gets sent off. So Kilmarnock, just in second, third gear, kind of a coasting towards the 3 points, which will be a huge relief for their fans, the manager, and a good performance as well. So Neil McCann will have a lot to talk about after the game.
He sure will. In England, Bournemouth have gone 2-0 up away to bottom side Wolves, who do, talking of doomed sides, they certainly look bound for the Championship once more. And Arsenal are now 4-0 up away to Leeds United as they underline their own title credentials. Mikel Arteta's side leading by 4-0. So I think you're right up to date with goals all around the country. Kilmarnock.
Should have been 3 out. Sorry to come in there. Yeah, should have been 3. It was 3 against 1 there for Airdrie. Dunfermline still going for it, but it was Lewis McGrattan just playing it across, opting to cross it this time. There was the fullback McDonald, 6 yards out.
Livingston, routine win for Motherwell, 2-0.
He's just ready to tap it in, and it's just, I think it's Ngengma just gets a little toe poke to take it away, but I don't think Dunfermline are coming back from this. It looks as if it's going to be I wouldn't say a comfortable victory for Airdrie, but they're certainly going to get the full 3 points.
That was nearly a lovely finish there, Willie, from
was it Kilty?
Rory McKenzie.
No, McKenzie came on as sub, didn't he? I've got the same problem as Derek. See, you can't tell, you can't see the numbers, to be perfectly honest, on this strip. Same with the Airdrie numbers too.
Tries a little lob, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sees meat off his line. Just didn't get it accurate enough, just drifts by the far post, but the intention was right. If it had got it a little bit more central, then it ends up in the back of the net.
You're quite there, well, we've got to be calling out these clubs with these trips. Airdrie come up worst, must say.
Yeah, tell me about it. Alloa are level again at the end of drill. It's 2 apiece. Luke Donnelly in stoppage time has made it 2-2 against Cove Rangers, who thought they'd won it, but certainly, in fact, that's just finished. There are a number of full-time whistles going around the country in League 2. I see that East Kilbride have recovered from their heavy defeat at home to Spartans by beating Forfar 3-1, and Spartans themselves have dropped points in a very exciting looking game away to Elgin City 3-3. That one finished Elgin in Scottish Cup action next weekend against Partick Thistle.
The Livingston players trot off there. Tom, can you imagine having just been given the run around by Motherwell, trotting into the changing room, getting a piece of David Martindale's mind, then checking your phone and seeing that Kilmarnock are winning 3-0? It's a bad day at the office, that.
Yeah, and it's the only crumb, and it's not even a crumb of comfort, is that it was only 2. It could have been a lot more, but they've had a terrible chasing here. It doesn't. The 2-0 scoreline doesn't reflect the chasing that they've had. They were embarrassed today, and they are in. I think they're gone.
Kilmarnock's.
I think they're gone.
There's salt in the wounds. They need something on Wednesday night. Livingston, in my opinion, if they have to stand any chance.
But there's no sign of anything.
No.
There's not a lot of sign of life here.
No.
I mean, the only one with the fight and talk is David Martindale, and he's not on the pitch. So,
Tom, would you think of changing the manager? Do you think that would help? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there because you said that players look defeated, they look burst. Sometimes a new manager, a new voice can inspire a set of players. I'm just throwing the question to see what you think.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think they will, but
no. I don't think they will either.
Any other club in that position, in that kind of run?
I asked the question, I think it was about a month ago, and they've not won a game since.
Yeah. Like David Martindale, he is kind of a totem of that club. Yeah. He's beloved by his new owner.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Josh Ridge come up. They missed the chance. So the Wraith Rovers have a corner kick. Everyone's up. Josh Ray, the goalkeeper, everyone's in the 6-yard box. They've got a striker up. The goalkeeper, Mark Thompson, catches the ball. All he's got to do is lump it forward, and he holds on to it. And Wraith Rovers gotten away with it. Incredible.
Still 2-1 to Ayr United in that one in the very closing moments. Still a bit of time left at Rugby Park because of the first half stoppage. It was a lengthy one as Mats Knuster was eventually stretchered off with what looked like a pretty serious injury. We hope it's not too bad. Yes, Chick?
Yeah, full time, 3 points to United. They've dragged themselves back into a playoff position. Big win over the Wraith Rovers. Wraith are coming back into ahead where we had Ben Dempsey free kick for United. Anton Dowd scored the second into the second half. It was Vaughan who came on, Lewis Vaughan, who scored a goal for Wraith Rovers, and there are a couple of chances in the wake of that. And I tell you this, United were hanging on towards the end. They had that chance to get the ball up the back, but it's all 3 points to Scott Brown's team. Scott Brown looking on from the stand, of course. He was banned for the technical area after being red-carded last week at Thistle. But it's a big win for Ayr United. They get themselves into the playoff place. It finished at Somerset Park. Ayr United 2, Wraith Rovers 1.
Full time here at East End Park as well. It's finished Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 2, a goal in each half. Free kick from Ewan Henderson the first half after 14 minutes. And then against a 10-man Dunfermline side, it was McGrattan, just come on the park, hitting an absolute rocket of a shot from just outside the box to beat the keeper to his right hand side. So Dunfermline, who were probably the favourites here this afternoon, I can see a lot of the fans going away, certainly disappointed, but certainly it was an Airdrie side that were up for this and get a comfortable win. Finished Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 2.
Willie, the body language of some of the Aberdeen players, they are giving the ball away, and
oh wow,
they look so lax on the ball. Kilmarnock, Robbie D should have scored. They should have scored again just there.
I think it was Hugo.
It's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that in the past, but the body language is not good. You know, the energy, even if you're 3-0 down, you've still got to show a bit of energy. But I suppose it's a club that's really lacking, leadership at the very top, isn't it? And the sooner they get the managerial situation sorted out, the better. It's a tough job for Peter Leaving. I would say, bringing in new players and new players not knowing who their next manager is going to be. But it is concerning, absolutely is concerning. They're not showing the energy, and certainly the body language is very negative.
I mean, they're 11 points ahead of Kilmarnock. But you look at this, I think that Kilmarnock Aberdeen look like a team that's fighting relegation here. They're devoid of anything, and it's like they go from the extremes here.
I was going to say night and day, isn't it?
6-2 last week, 3-0, and going on 4-5 today. They've been battered today. This team looks like if you didn't know better, you think that it was Aberdeen who were in 11th and Kilmarnock were in 7th.
Yeah, been abysmal today, you'd have to say. Kilmarnock, though, to be fair to them, have been very good as Beto grabs an Everton equaliser in the 7th minute of stoppage time away to Brighton. That could be a big goal for Davy Moyes' side. We'll bring you all the classified results very shortly from around the country, around the leagues, and indeed all the updated league tables as well. Still playing at Rugby Park, as I mentioned, is still on the go in Paisley as well, Stephen?
Yeah, we have 20 seconds left, and I think I've possibly seen the worst attempt at a dive to try and win a penalty kick from a St Mirren player. Long throw from the left-hand side by Killian Phillips. I'm not too sure who it is. Throws himself to the ground, but yeah, I think it looks like it's going to. This game is destined for 0-0. I think it deserves 0-0. No one has done enough in the game, and there hasn't been enough quality. And there is a full-time whistle. It's St Mirren 0, Dundee 0.
You said you put your house on a goalless draw. What do you actually win as a result of that? Another house?
I just get a moral victory, Al. That's all.
Fair enough.
He's got plenty of houses, Stephen Craigan.
That's true.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Property magnate Stephen Craigan.
If only.
Will you just bring us right up to speed with what's been happening at Rugby Park?
Okay, I'll do my best. Kilmarnock have been in buoyant form, I would suggest. They've dominated the game from start to finish. Aberdeen, they've had Knuster stretchered off, they've had Shinnie sent off as well. They've not looked as though they could mount any kind of a problem for the home side. And as far as Neil McCann's concerned, he's got to be totally delighted with this performance. I mean, I've watched Kilmarnock a couple of times this season. Nothing in the way of this type of confidence, and that's what he was talking about. Neil McCann, Billy Dodds were talking about trying to get some confidence into this team. Listen, at 3-0 going on probably 5 or 6, so you know, from that point of view, it's got to have a huge impact in the confidence. For Aberdeen, well, you know, their confidence got to be shot after getting the run around and managerless as well at this moment in time. I think they've got enough points in the bag just now not to get dragged into that relegation battle, but hey, you just never know. If they continue to perform like this, then that is a possibility.
4 minutes added on, they're just moving into stoppage time, and that one Willie will bring us a full-time report. But do you remember ahead of kick-off, Willie was saying how bubbly he was feeling, how he was very, very positive. Do you detect a little of his
that's a
bubble
lesson
has
that
burst?
I've taught myself. That's a lesson that I've taught myself.
I think he
not
sounds
to
more
ever
like
again be in that kind of a bubbly mood.
Yeah, he sounds
just
more like
revert
himself.
Just revert back to my normal.
Yeah, he is. He's the old Willie Miller that we know and love is back. The guy last week, he was a bit of an imposter.
Yes, indeed.
You know, we don't know where we are with that guy, all sunshine and light. No, welcome back, Willie.
It's good to be back, Tom. Thank you.
Right, let's get the full-time report from Armon Vale, where Livingston were up against Motherwell today. Alan Preston.
Well, it was nice and easy, a stroll in the park, it has to be said, for Motherwell, who won by 2-0, Alistair. But Livingston had the best chance in 2 minutes. May to Pittman, his flick on found McLennan. Clean through with the keeper to beat, but Ward makes a magnificent save. But from then on, it was all Livingston. They went ahead in 5 minutes just with a wonderful pass. Maswanise, it's right on his head, but he sees the keeper off his line and he gently lobs the ball over with his head over the top of the goalie into the back of the net. A just corner, then McGinn had a header which was May managed to clear off the line. Slattery with a 1-2 with Maswanise, really good save by Prior, and then just had a bending shot almost going and crashed off the post, but it was 2-0 in 28 minutes again, and it was that man Maswanise for his 13th league goal of the season, calmly passing the ball into the back of the net. He could have had a hat-trick, could have had 4 or 5. He had a shot over, he then had a shot saved by Prior at the near post. Nothing really of any note from either side in the second half. Motherwell just toyed with them. Livingston 6 adrift now. Motherwell 8 points ahead of Hibs in 4th and only 2 behind Celtic in 3rd. Final score here, Livingston 0, Motherwell 2.
Yeah, it's quite magnificent from Motherwell as they continue their really excellent run all season. Let's cross to Paisley now. Stephen Craigan was at the Smythe Stadium watching St Mirren against Dundee.
Yeah, and I have to say my expectations weren't high this afternoon for goals, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. I think the facts are 4 shots on target between both sides this afternoon. No goalkeeper really tested at any stage. Any shot on target was down the throat of the goalkeeper, so there's no doubt both sides will need to work on their play in the final third. I think Dundee will be slightly disappointed they didn't take the lead after 10 minutes. Cross from the left-hand side was misjudged by Shamal George in goal, and Cameron Congreve really should have done an awful lot better when the ball unexpectedly landed at his left foot. He managed to put it past the post. St Mirren's big chance probably in the whole game was a lovely counter-attacking move. It started on the right-hand side. Atete out to Gogic across the field, and with Richard King at the back post. Didn't make a clean enough contact and unfortunately couldn't get it on target. Dre Wright then had a shot fizzed over the crossbar just before half-time. But the big talking point, and I think what this game will be remembered for, was the straight red card for the new St Mirren recruit Jake Young. It looked as if it was an innocuous tackle, I have to say. I thought he stood in the foot of Brad Halliday, but Nick Walsh didn't hesitate, give him a straight red card. VAR clearly had a look at it, thought it was a subjective decision and decided to stay on field. So from that perspective, it's probably a better point for St Mirren than it is for Dundee. Dundee had lots of the ball, passages of play were nice, interplay was good, but they lacked the cutting edge. That's what they missed to potentially turn 1 point into 3. So full time here at the Smythe Stadium this afternoon is St Mirren 0, Dundee 0.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, still playing at Rugby Park. We'll get the full-time report from Willie just shortly, but let's move into the Championship. Ayr United in 5th were up against 6th place Wraith Rovers, and Chick Young was watching for us.
And now Ayr United are 4th, dragging themselves back into a playoff place. The great unpredictables of Scottish football. You just don't know what you're getting from Ayr United these days. They won this seemingly convincingly. They were 2-0 ahead. There was a free kick from Ben Dempsey early in the game, 29 minutes on the clock, curled it in, and there was an effort made to get a touch over the line, but it was by Curtis Main, but Dempsey didn't get a strike on it at all, and it was a free kick that was the goal given to Dempsey. The second goal came into the second half. Big Anton Dowd, who used to score so freely for this club and was out for a long time with injury, he got the second 2-0 to them, and then Lewis Vaughan came on. What an impact he made. He made it back, got back to 2-1. He had 3 other chances to score, and Wraith Rovers were pushing on towards the end, and Ayr United were hanging on. In the end, they got all 3 points. Big win for Scott Brown, who had to watch this game from the stand after his red card against Partick Thistle last week at Firhill. Back in the ball game at Ayr United, into the top 4 this afternoon. It's very, very exciting in this race. But Dunfermline's defeat, of course, means a big win in another sense for Ayr United. So a bad day for Fife all round, because Wraith Rovers have lost this game, and it's Ayr United who win by 2-1.
Thanks, Chick. Big hugs, big smiles among the Kilmarnock players and staff as the full-time whistle sounds at Rugby Park, and a 3-0 victory for the home side against Aberdeen. We'll get Willie Miller's roundup of that game just shortly, but first of all, let's stay in the Championship with Dunfermline against Airdrie, and the report comes from Derek Ferguson.
Yes, Al, a surprising result. Maybe's aye, maybe's no. Finished Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 2. The visitors, well, they started the better, taking control right from the off, and deservedly took the lead on 14 minutes. The Pars giving away, I've got to say, a cheap foul just 20 yards from goal, and it was Airdrie's Ewan Henderson. He just stepped up to whip a free kick to the keeper's right to get the opener. The home side, with their best moment in a competitive first half, I've got to say, was Chris Hamilton clipping the top of the bar with a well-struck shot from the edge of the box. That was towards the break into the second half, and the Pars 1-0 down were then reduced to 10 men. Chris Hamilton hauling down Chris Mockery, denying a goal-scoring opportunity, that coming on 55 minutes. So it was all against Dunfermline at that moment, but they had a great moment from Rudden about 5 minutes later. He passed up a good chance to get the equaliser, scuffing his shot from just 6 yards out. The home side pushing forward were caught out in 82 minutes. Sub Lewis McGrattan bursting forward, then blasting a shot home from just outside the box. So not the day that the Pars fans were expecting. It finished Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 2.
Thanks, Derek. And let's go back to Rugby Park then, where the Kilmarnock players are still performing a lap of honour, and central to that is Neil McCann. I've rarely seen him happier, I have to say, and Willie Miller, he's got good cause to be as happy as he is this afternoon.
No, he certainly has great cause actually to be very happy with his side this afternoon, because it was a totally dominant performance. Him and Dodges out there celebrating with his players, and the fans are staying behind as well and making the most of what they saw this afternoon, because it was top quality. It was a performance that will give them certainly hope going forward to avoid the relegation or being part of the relegation issue, because if they perform like this, then you could certainly see them getting themselves into a much more comfortable position in the league. It was 3-0 it ended, and it could have been much more. The first one came in 12 minutes. Brad Lyons, too easy for Brad Lyons to get his head on. It's a delivery from Kilty down the left hand side, and it's just a little flick, a very cute flick from Lyons. He just drifts it into the far corner to give, at that time, what was a deserved lead, and it was 2 in 14 minutes. This time it was the partnership that linked up John Jules, setting up Bruce Anderson, and Bruce Anderson drilling it into the back of the net for Aberdeen. Nisbet's had a weak chance early in the game. Keskinen's had a shot that was well blocked, I think, by Dees. It looked goal bound just before half time, but they had Mats Knusters sent off after he tried to win a heading duel against Kilty. Went over the top, landed very awkwardly, and after a 9-minute stoppage was stretchered off. So you're thinking, can it get any worse for Aberdeen? Certainly at the beginning of the second half, in 51 minutes, it was Graham Shinney that got himself a red card, a straight red card, for a high challenge on Kilty. Caught midfielder, on the top of the thigh. So that's Aberdeen down to 10 men, and then that striking duo again. This time Bruce Anderson setting up John Jules. Anderson runs in behind the back of the left side of Aberdeen's defence. He cuts it back for Jules, who really pulls the trigger first time. It's a magnificent strike, plenty of power in off the far post. It was a convincing 3-0 lead at that time. It stayed convincing. Aberdeen didn't really have any answer to the Kilmarnock performance, and at 90 plus minutes here at Kilmarnock, it finishes Kilmarnock 3. What a result for them, and another disappointing result for Aberdeen 0.
Thanks, Willie. Yeah, Kilmarnock with a fabulous victory, a first victory for them in 18 matches, and a much needed one to take them 6 points above Livingston. We'll see the full tables just shortly, but first of all, let's get the classified football results.